as I only just came in, but I'm guessing that was us talking to Warren Dutram in Ireland a couple of years ago. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson. Welcome back. England, well, they did quite well in that little session before tea. They were a little unlucky. For some bizarre reason, we have two slips standing much closer to each other than normal, and Ben Stokes got away with it once in the Pakistan first innings when he went across Joe Root to grab one. This time, when Azhar Ali found his outside edge, he went across in front of Joe Root, who should have taken it comfortably, and shelled it, I'm afraid to say. So just the 1 wicket down. Shan Masood, who was caught down the leg side by Jos Buttler. Reasons for celebration there, but he'll be a bit disappointed after what went on in the first innings to get out in such a, not exactly a silly way, but an unorthodox way. Knuckle is alongside me in a virtual sense. What do we think? What have England got to do? Take wickets, basically.
Well, yeah, indeed, and they do seem to be going with this very attacking line. We've seen Azhar Ali look really uncomfortable in this second innings for such a good player. I mean, he has been out of form for a while, particularly away from home, but even so, he's not looked his usual assured self. Abid Ali's played a couple of nice shots off the back foot, particularly through the offside. He looks good square of the wicket, although he has of course been dropped. I do wonder. Root took a blow on the thumb a couple of overs before he went off. Look, a nasty blow. It swelled up immediately. He's back on with a bandaged hand. I wonder if Stokes had decided that if it goes hard to Root, that I'm going to go for it. But I think that might be just reading a bit too much into it. He is quite impulsive and he likes to be in the game. I was talking that he might actually be a little bit too high energy to be a particularly good slip fielder. But yeah, should have been caught. But it does look like England are going to be able to keep creating chances.
Yes, I can understand how annoyed Jimmy was. He kicked the floor, didn't he, in anger when that one went begging. But it looked to me he was really putting effort in. There are times, every now and again, you just feel that Jimmy Anderson dips below his usual energy levels and gets a little bit peeved with life. But actually, he ran in pretty quickly and was definitely looking to get England back into this game after they faded away once more after lunch. What is it about lunch? Yesterday they bowled terribly. Today they didn't bat particularly well. That said, the bowling was supreme, and I don't think we can look at that England innings and say a lot of players got themselves out. I think they were got out by extremely skillful bowling. One point I wanted to make about Azhar Ali, and I think this is indicative of how difficult Test cricket can be. He is a man who is the only batsman to score 100 with the white ball, a double with a red ball, and a triple with a pink ball. He's one of only 4 Pakistanis to score a triple century. Hanif Mohammed, Inzamam and Yunus are the others. He averages 42.58. He has 1,631 50s, and yet he has been out there for 18 balls on a pair, desperately trying to get that first run, and it has eluded him so far. That is an example of how tough Test cricket
especially
gets.
in the last few years. There's so many good bowlers around the world. The pitches are more helpful. The ball is doing more for longer, especially in England. Azhar's record in Asia in the last couple, outside Asia, in fact everywhere really in the last couple of years, is really poor. He's averaging 11 outside Asia in the last couple of years, which for a player of the class that you just outlined, and I was talking about this as well, he's a really good player, one of the not one of the greats of the modern era, but one of the very good players of the modern era, and he is struggling out there.
Yeah, he is. I was looking at his matches against England. 14 tests before this one, 799 runs, an average of 31. But in England, that drops down to an average of about 29.
Yeah. He had a poor
so he has struggled. Just the 100 in this country, 350s in 12 tests. It doesn't really announce what a good cricketer he is, really.
No, he had a poorish tour in 20. He had an okay tour in 2010. That was his debut tour, that very difficult tour of 2010, which ended in ignominy. Had a good tour in 2016 and an awful tour as an opener in 2018. I think he's much better at number 3 after having opened for a little while, as we saw in Ireland as well. He didn't do anything in either innings in Ireland opening.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, in fact, as you said, in reeling those statistics off, this is actually his 4th tour of England. And I guess as a test player, you don't get that many more tours to any one country than 4 or 5. I think that's probably the limit because of the way that the Test calendar is laid out, really, especially now. That said, if you think about it, well, he's had 3 tours effectively of England since 2016. He's also had a little spell with Somerset, so he should be, I don't know, feel more at home in English conditions than 1 or 2 others, for sure. Anyway, the teams are on their way back to the middle. Who's joining us straight after the tea interval?
Nestlers is here.
Nestlers! Hello, Nestlers! Hello!
Hello. Nestlers, is the feed any better now for you?
No.
Oh dear.
Are you not picking it up very well?
It's frame by frame.
I think from what Bear is saying, Zoom is having an issue that we can't do a huge amount about. It is odd that you are the only person for whom that is not the case, Hendo, but we'll go with it because I cannot ball by ball for the next hour and a half. But anyway, these are the Pakistan batters who will try and eke this lead out even further.
My name is Azhar Ali. Nobody I'd rather be.
Now it sends out warnings to folks every morning, usually on a nice printed card.
And the first recipient of that handcrafted invitation is this guy.
Sweep the leg, Brody. Got the best headband around. Something has got to keep her down. Got the best headband around. Your ego.
Here he comes, in bowls to Azhar Ali, who drops it into the offside. He's keen to get that single, but Dominic Bess is in quickly from backward point to prevent that. And so he remains scoreless. Pakistan 20-for-1 in the 10th over of their second innings. The lead is 127. Now, tell me more about this problem with Zoom. If I was using Zoom to watch the cricket, I would be struggling. But as I'm watching a TV...
Yes, you're fine.
I'm fine. Let's go and get yourself some Sky. Come on, cough up.
Well, I've got Now TV, but it's 2 balls behind.
He's on his iPad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Here comes Broad again, 1 for 2 into his 5th over, bowls, and this is going to be a run! It's going to be more than 1 run! A despairing dive at mid-off is not enough to stop this running away, rather slowly in the end, to the boundary, and Azhar Ali is off the mark.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And off the pair. Nice shot, and James Anderson has winded himself.
He has diving at that one, and yes, it was nothing more than a push, really, but he timed it very nicely indeed, and that will be a relief to him. Second ball after tea to get off the mark and move on to 4. Abid Ali is on 15. It's not a completely clear day in Manchester. There are a few light whitish clouds around, a little bit of blue sky, but no great movement in the air for bowlers, nothing like we've had in those tests against the West Indies. Here comes Broad an extra slip in, driven, opening the face absolutely immaculately. That first shot has given him confidence, and he's repeated the dose, this time through cover. 4 more runs.
Yeah, sign of the class player that Azhar Ali is that we've been talking about.
Yeah, that was an absolutely beautiful shot. He's not tried to hit either of these 4s, really. He's just placed it and timed it beautifully. Really lovely cricket from the Pakistani captain. Any tweets? Hopefully we're not too behind on the tweets.
No. There's no problem with anything else.
It's good to know. Good to know.
Well, Jersey Oak says, "Where's Manny these days?"
Oh, Manny. Can you imagine Manny trying to get to grips with Zoom? Onto the back foot goes Azhar Ali, defends this one into the covers, and there is no run. I'd love to have Manny again, but he's very hard to track down.
He's very angry somewhere.
He's obviously being very angry somewhere. I presume that his whole crop of wine and beer for the year has probably fallen victim to COVID, so he's probably racking his brains on to think of some other great business opportunity instead of coming on Guerrilla Cricket, which is a great shame. Because I'd love to have him on, but the idea of him getting to grips with Zoom is worse than thinking about me getting to grips with it. Outside the off stump, and this time he lays the ball down off thick outside edge towards backward point, and there is no run.
Well, Mike Michael Wood is a bit annoyed because after Dutchbird Kate's tweet about a game in Amsterdam tonight, I already told the missus I'd go for tea. Would have gone otherwise. Can't think of a better way to spend a sweltering evening than at the beautiful VRA ground in the forest.
Why are we now seeing shots of the press corps?
I don't know. We keep seeing pictures of George de Bell. They seem to love him, don't they? Well, he's so good on camera, isn't he? The lovely George. Not sure who that is. The photographer, I must admit. Anyway, here comes Broad into Azhar Ali again. He opens the face, looking for that single, backward of point, but won't get it. Bess is in, and that is the end of an over, which will have brought much relief and confidence to Azhar Ali. He's moved on to 8 from 24 deliveries. Abid Ali is on 15, and he will be taking strike from, we think, Jimmy Anderson, if he hasn't completely winded himself.
Jen Rowe, chasing Willow, says, "Hello, Rebels. I forgot you existed for a little bit.
What? How could you do that?"
But a tray of cheese scones, and I am delighted to hear you.
Well, those cheese scones would be better. I don't know. Well, I was going to say Sydenham, but no, there's only really Knackle at Sydenham today.
I don't mind a cheese scone.
I don't want cheese scones wasted on you, Knackle. You don't appreciate pastries.
It's true. They can be dispersed liberally around London.
Of their wonderful risingness, as Nestle sent that tweet in yesterday, if you remember. It's going to be Jofra Archer. It's not going to be Jimmy Anderson. It's going to be Jofra Archer. He's got a jingle that goes somewhat like this. Can we have the new one, please?
It will break your heart. Hotter than lava, cooler than Bogart. In your face.
First ball to Azhar Ali. Of course, he got rid of him in the first innings. This is defended. The full face of the bat up to Broad at mid-on, and there is no run.
Abid Ali, you mean?
Did I say Azhar? I meant Abid. There are many Alis out there. Too many, as far as I'm concerned, as an England fan. Although I do appreciate.
We don't have Rahat Ali to worry about this series.
No Rahat Alis. There must be a few other. Hassan Ali?
No, he's not in this
Ali was
tour.
another one.
He's not on this tour either.
Mohammed
Ali.
Very good.
Yeah. I don't think he's playing cricket anytime soon. Archer then, second ball of his spell in, bowls down the leg side. Butler leaps to his left, pulls off a fine save, and there is no run. 28 for 1 is the score. They have a lead of 107. He was getting that in-swinger to go, and it was the in-swinger that got rid of Abid Ali in the first innings. It didn't quite get the line right, so it ended up swinging down the leg side. If he gets the line right, it's going to be a very tricky ball for Abid Ali to deal with.
Absolute beaut that got Abid Ali in the first innings. Swung in and then moved in further off the seam.
It was a thing of great beauty. He's in again. He's looking for that swing as he throws this one wide of the off stump, but it doesn't come back as he would have liked, and Abid Ali leaves it alone. Any more tweets or social media?
Jay Grover is admonishing Knackle. He says, "Knackle can't ball by ball for the next 90 minutes. I thought thou were Yorkshire. Nish, Mother Hull weeps tonight." To be fair...
hang on, I don't understand why you can't ball by ball for the next 90 minutes.
I can. Well, I can if you want to.
Okay. I thought it was something to do with the technology. Outside the off stump, onto the back foot, powered away by Abid Ali to the man at deep backward point, who is Ollie Pope. And they take a single. And Pakistan move to 29 for 1. Who is on next? Who is on next after us? I've lost.
Oh, it is actually me.
Oh, well, there you go. I think that'll be your last one before you have to go to Cardiff, won't it?
That's right, yes. And then Bear will be in to replace me.
Yep, the Bear is going to leave the Cubs behind for a little while, shoot up the hill from Sydenham, and don't laugh at the word "shoot up" there, Nestle. I heard you. The off stump, left alone by Azhar Ali on this occasion, and it's through the keeper.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but there's a man with a large hammer and a sort of digging tool waiting.
Looks like Father Time to me. A very portly Father Time. He's got his scythe with him. And
then there's a rather gawky-looking fellow with a giant broom and a bucket.
That's the apprentice Father Time.
Yeah, he's got his assistant.
Indeed.
One day, son, all this will be yours.
Indeed. Here comes Archer turning again at the top of his run, powering in past the umpire full, nicely met by Azhar Ali on the front foot, and pushes it firmly up to wide mid-off. And there is no run. It's the end of the over, 29 for 1.
Message Ed says there's something very Damien Martin about those 2 off drives of Azhar Ali.
Damien
And
Martin. Well, he was renowned as a stylist,
That
wasn't
would
he?
be high praise indeed.
Well, he's copied Damien Martin in on that tweet, hoping for
has
a
he?
response. I know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Keep us up to date with that, Messrs.
I think Azhar Ali's a little bit less flamboyant than, well, quite a lot less flamboyant than Damien Martin.
Yeah, Damien Martin was a more of a stroke player in at about 4 or 5, wasn't he? Azhar Ali has been an opener or batting number 3 most of his career. More of a solid batsman who builds an innings. Not to say that Damien Martin didn't, but when he gets going, he's much more attacking batsman, really.
Talking of Damien's, Damon Lewis has messaged us on YouTube saying greetings from Dublin. Great commentary.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Damon. Damon.
It's not Damien Lewis, Katie's friend, not the
It's
actor.
Damon.
Oh, okay.
Damien Lewis
never
is
mind.
quite a good cricketer, isn't he? Or he's a big cricket
Damien
fan,
Lewis?
at least.
Oh yes, he's a very big cricket fan. We wanted to get him on Gorilla many a time, but Katie was never able to pull it off, I'm afraid. Yes, we are having some running repairs to where the bowlers land, the footmarks, and the apprentice, Father Time, runs off with his brush and his bucket, and Abid Ali gets ready to face Stuart Broad into his 6th over. Haven't seen anything of Woakes yet, have we? We've got 2 slips of gully, backward point, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, square leg and a long leg, which, as I said, has become the regulation field until something interesting happens. It's neither one thing or the other. It's neither really attacking or really defensive. Anyway, somewhere in between. Here comes Broad, bowls, and Abid Ali goes back and plays this straight down to mid-on as the ball reared up in towards his hip, but he played it well enough. And there is no run. Now the umpire's concerned about maybe where Stuart Broad is running after delivering. He's just gone out to a patch a few yards down the wicket and sort of patted it with his foot.
Yeah, that fixed it.
That fixed it, absolutely.
We saw Mohammed Abbas having a talking to from the umpire about the same thing. This pitch is dry and it's starting to break up a little.
Broad in again, bowls, met with the full face of the bat, and it's going to bring a single as Archer has to go across to his left from mid-on. A rather wild throw. There was no one at the non-striker's end to take the ball,
Sent
so it
it
ended up running through to the wicket-keeper, making ground over to his left.
I think Abid sent him back.
Did he? Oh yes, they both went halfway and then went back again. Well, good spot. We were more excited by what Jofra Archer was doing, and so there is no run from that. 29 for 1.
Our hit would have had Azhar Ali well short.
Here is Broad again. Bowls and outside the off stump, foolish of length, defended to Sibley at extra cover. And again, there is no run.
Now, I don't know if this has been mentioned before, and probably hasn't because it's totally pointless, but is that Lifebuoy soap the advertising on the pitch? Is it a big deal in Pakistan?
Do you know? I was asked that very question earlier today. We were talking about Lifebuoy soap, and we hadn't figured it out. We hadn't figured out whether that is the old bar of soap that we used to get
They
in
are
the
an
70s.
official partner of the Pakistan Cricket Board.
Oh, there you go then. But is it the same company, or is it, I don't know, an offshoot, or is it something further down the line? Has it been sold? Oh my goodness. Well, Jimmy Anderson didn't get across to that at mid-off at all. Well, he's let it escape from his grasp, and what should have been a regulation piece of fielding ends up being 2 runs for Abid Ali. Pakistan move on to 31 for 1, the lead to 138.
Jimmy was probably considering the Lifebuoy soap question as well at that point.
There are a lot of old brands that have stuck around, particularly sort of old English brands. I think Pears soap is very big in India.
Is it?
Okay.
Omo. Do they still have Omo?
I don't know.
I don't remember Omo.
Washing powder. Omo.
What
You
was
must
what was
remember
it?
Omo.
Imperial leather. What about Imperial
Imperial
leather?
Oh no,
leather's
you
still
still get that here.
Yeah, well.
We had a bar of Imperial leather clog our shower drain.
Oh, lovely. Broad, wide on the crease. Bowls to Abid Ali, presents the full face of the bat on the front foot. Ball runs up towards mid-on, and there is no run. Down at 78 miles an hour there, Broady. I'm just wondering whether England's positivity at the start of the Pakistan second innings has evaporated a little bit with that dropped catch that we saw. And, well, if these two get in, it's just going to be a case of how long they want to go on, isn't it, really? I imagine they want to bat till about tea tomorrow night, if they possibly can. Give England 4 sessions on a wearing pitch, which will be a lot of fun. Maybe not for the batsman. Broad turns again, runs in, bowls, and they're going to get a single here as Abid Ali tucks this away neatly into the onside. Jofra Archer moves round the field, keeps the ball because he's going to bowl, and that is the end of the over, 32 for 1.
Jay Grover says, shit, I just snorted at shoot up as well. Darn my juvenile. But I wasn't, it was just the thought of bare legging it up that hill which made me chuckle.
Oh, really, was it? It wasn't that. That wasn't what made me chuckle, but there you go.
Yeah, I was just had visions of him, charging up,
Running up that hill.
But Jen Rose says, I should not have forgotten about you, certainly. You're presiding over one of my great loves, possibly winning a test match.
You mean the Pakistanis?
Yeah,
well, they're playing extremely well. They look like they've got, or they've found, somehow, some more brilliance from out of almost nowhere. Out of the fact that they've not been able to play at home until this last few months. Outside the off stump from Archer, very full indeed, but left alone by Abid Ali, who's now moved on to 19.
Jay Grover says, I reckon it's Lifebuoy Imperial Halal Cement.
I've always said that's one of my favourite brands.
I love the idea of
never quite sure what
cement.
to use it, though.
What a fantastic concept. What I find interesting, the construction of this Pakistan bowling attack. You've got Mohammad Abbas and Yasir Shah, who had to do such hard yards in first-class cricket, and then you've got the 2 young tyros in Shaheen and Naseem.
Absolutely. Onto the back foot goes Abid Ali, plays a nicely crafted stroke off the back foot towards extra cover, straight into the hands of Dominic Sibley. Yes, you've got very much the youth and experience, although sometimes the youth is actually more experienced than the experience. It's a very strange side of a number of players in their 30s and then a number of much younger players as well. Fawad Alam, I saw, was out there in the fielding for Pakistan a little bit earlier as a substitute fielder. Of course, he hasn't played a test for 11 years. Archer in, bowls a bouncer. Abid Ali gets down underneath that, and it goes through to Butler. No run.
I was looking at his last test match. Mohammad Hafiz and Shoaib Malik were opening for Pakistan in that test match, and the last bowler to dismiss Fawad Alam was Shane Bond in test cricket.
Shane Bond. Well, he made his debut, I think, against New Zealand in Hamilton, did he not? That seems to resonate with me. But only went on to play 3 tests, which is extraordinary for a man of his ability. I mean, when you look at his first pass record, it's quite astonishing. Jordan in. Jordan Jofra. Onto the back foot goes Abid Ali. Plays it square out into the deep where Ollie Pope is stationed, and they take a single, 33 for 1. I might just pull up some of his stats because they are quite amazing.
He's been one of the heaviest scorers in Pakistan for a decade.
Yeah, let me just look at this. He made, and of course, this is the other thing you forget. No, it wasn't his debut. Wasn't at Hamilton, but I think that was his last test. As you said, New Zealand. Shane Bond would have been the last man who got him out. He made his debut against Sri Lanka in Colombo at the PPS, I think it is, 2009. This is left alone by Azhar Ali outside the off stump. Scored 168 in the second innings of his debut test, and then seemingly after 2 more tests got completely forgotten about. He's piled up runs in first class cricket in the Qaid-e-Azam Trophy. I think 711 runs at an average of 71 with 400s and 250s, playing for Sindh in the newly formed trophy. And he scored apparently 8,000 first-class runs outside the off stump and left alone by Azhar since he played his last test with 2,300s and 36 50s. Pretty good, isn't it? Pretty good.
Yeah.
That said, Pakistan don't look like they need him at the moment because they're going along quite happily.
No,
33 for 1, leading by 140.
Yeah, Shadab Khan was picked ahead of him and has done very well with bat and ball. Are we bringing a spinner? Are England bringing a spinner on because Josh Butler's put a helmet on?
It could be. Archer is walking away after 2 overs that have cost him 2 runs.
So
Broad just bowled a couple, didn't he, after the break? And it does look like it's going to be Dominic Bess.
little LMO, from Australia says Omo, Small and Mighty, one of the bigger detergent brands in Australia.
Is that right?
And if you look closely,
very good. Anyway,
I have a badge.
anyway,
You have a badge. Sorry, I
no.
missed that.
anyway, here from the
there
Brian
you go.
Statham end is Dominic Bess.
If the pitch isn't good for pace, get this lad on his bowling's ace. But if you need someone who bats, you should just save Dom Bess for last.
I wonder if this is to change ends, because Broad has done a lot better bowling from the James Anderson end than he was bowling from the Statham end.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that because Bess is about to bowl this first over. Certainly first over that he's bowled in this innings. He's coming over the wicket to the right-handed Abid Ali. He's in, bowls, he gets right in behind that, back on the stumps, defends it down to Ollie Pope, who's now been brought in from patrolling at deep backward point to take up residence at short leg. And there was no run. So Bess again is in. Got a slip as well, throws this one up, driven by Abid Ali, but with no great power or timing, straight towards extra cover. And again, they remain stuck at home, not taking the run. Bess, a couple of little jumps as he comes in, then a walk, then into his run as it was, and defended back down the pitch by Abid Ali. Ollie Pope comes round to field from short leg, and again there's no run.
The reason I said the change of ends, not just because Broad has been more effective from the other end, I would worry if England are going this defensive this early.
Well, maybe they're just trying to see if there's a bit of extra spin than there was in the first innings for Bess. This one is flatter and defended into the offside. There is no run. Yes, I'm just wondering, after seeing what Yasir Shah and Shadab Khan managed to do, England are hoping that Dominic Bess will do, although it's more difficult as a finger spinner to get that kind of purchase off the pitch. He's in again, bowls. That's a good ball, and it has jumped up off Abid Ali's thigh pad, or even maybe just under the armpit there. But Pope wasn't very excited, didn't think that there was any bat involved. But that's the kind of length he wants to get. And let's see, does it take a little bit out of the top? It does. In fact, that may have been a bit of glove in that initially. I think there was, and then it went up under the armpit and away behind Pope. There's no chance of him taking a catch there, but had there been a man at leg slip or leg gully, he might have been in business. Now this is a big hoik into the onside. It's gone way up in the air. Someone is under it. Chris Woakes is the man, and he takes it at deep square leg, and Abid Ali has thrown it away. Dominic Bess has done what he was brought on to do, and Pakistan are 33 for 2.
Hush my mouth.
You silly little boy, what on earth were you playing at?
Well, he went for the big slog sweep, and he didn't get hold of it very well at all. And Woakes came in off the boundary about 12 to 15 yards, pouched a very comfortable catch at about waist height. And Abid Ali, after a reasonable start, of course he was dropped at one point, but after a reasonable start, he's on his way back to the pavilion again. 16 in the first innings, 20 in the second innings. Faced 46 balls, and that's a bonus for England, really.
Oh,
Lots of people telling us that Lifebuoy are part of Unilever, but the best one is Jersey Oak, who says Lifebuoy is part of Unilever and still made worldwide. It's made in India for the Asian market. You can still sit in your bath with your Lifebuoy soap, sipping on your baby sham, then have your Vesta carry afterwards, washed down with your Carling Black Label.
No, I would never wash anything down with Carling Black Label.
No. He's meaning that all those brands.
I'm not sure I'd wash a sink with Carling.
Oh, I understand what he's saying, but I mean, even at my lowest ebb, I would never down Carling Black Label.
Carling Black Label.
Although they do tend to serve it at cricket grounds. I know Trent Bridge did for a while. I think the Oval has done.
It's quite popular, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's horrible.
Do you remember the Carling Bassett? She was.
Is it some sort of dog?
She was a Canadian tennis player. She's part of the Carling family.
I think it's Carling Bassett as in hound, but anyway, I was a bit confused. Babar Azam, we'll come back to that. Babar Azam has come to the middle, and we will jingle him up.
Babar Azam, have you any wool? No, sir.
He doesn't, because he's a cricketer from Pakistan, and he's a really good one. Thank you very much.
That was the last ball of the over, so Archer is back into the attack. He won't face then. It's Azhar Ali has to duck underneath this first ball. An appeal of some sort from Archer to umpire Kettleborough. I don't know what that was about. Unless he sort of left his bat hanging in the air a little bit as he got down, and he thought it might have flicked that in a sort of periscope kind of a way. It was nowhere near the bat. It might have flicked off the helmet. I don't know what Joss Butler was getting moderately excited about at all.
He caught a ball.
He caught a ball there, of course. That's fair enough. That's reason for celebration.
No change of ends, it looks like. Looks like Bess is on for a little while at least.
Yes, no change of ends. Archer in again to Azhar Ali. Ball has found the edge! Oh, and it's found its way between Ben Stokes and Joe Root, and it has run away to the third man boundary for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Was that catchable for Stokes? Oh, it's a no ball as well.
It's a no ball, so we would have got excited for no reason.
I'm sorry, Smokey, you were over the line. That's a foul.
I think the third umpire's calling no balls is showing just how many no balls fast bowlers bowl.
Well, you certainly get the impression, don't you, that a lot have been missed in the in preceding games, in perhaps the last 3 or 4 years. Oh, well, it was catchable just about, I think. And this time, Stokes didn't really go for it with any commitment at all, just hung out a left hand. Next ball is defended, good length, up to mid-on, and there is no run.
Yeah.
That would have given England such a boost, though, to get 2 quick wickets after tea. That would have really picked them up after what happened shortly before tea. At least Woakes can catch, and we're seeing him do that as Abid Ali brought out the slog sweep and perished in so doing.
There's a distinct lack of respect for Tom Bess, I think, that Pakistan showed in both innings. Presumably the plan was to just try and hit Dom Bess out of the attack and build the lead from a position of strength, but he didn't play the shot well at all.
No. Well, I sometimes think it's a good thing to just have a little bit of a look at a bowler rather than trying to hit his first few balls out of the park. This is a good ball from Archer on the line of off stump, very good length. Turns Azhar Ali round a little bit, the bottom hand coming through as he defends that back to the bowler. There is no run. The lead has moved on now to 145. Pakistan 38 for 2 in their second innings.
I mean, particularly on a wearing pitch where you can't trust the bounce, Bess got that to dip a little bit. It's fine if you get the length right, but you're guessing a little bit in his first over.
I think that's what Bess is struggling with and trying to find consistency with at the moment. This is defended up to mid-on, Broaders in swiftly to prevent thoughts of a single. I think that's what Bess needs to get right. It's his length. There has been turn for him in pretty much every match that he's played this summer. But he's not always got the length right to enable him to take advantage of that.
No, and it's the fact that he doesn't always consistently get the ball to dip. So even when he's bowling full, it just carries on going full rather than dipping to that good length like we see really good spinners get.
Archer in again, bowls onto the back foot goes Azhar Ali. This one he meets at the top of the bounce and forces, but not past mid-off. And there is no run. 87 miles an hour there from Archer, just winding it up a little bit. And England could do with a really good spell from him right now. They could do with one of those inspirational periods where Archer just gets it right. He needs to channel that period against Steve Smith last summer and see if he can produce it or reproduce it for England now. As it settles down, waits for Archer. Close to the stumps, he bowls him a Yorker length delivery, which was wide of the off stump, but he manages to dig out, then looks for a single because the ball has maybe only gone about a foot from him, and fielders have to get in there, but they decide against it in the end. And we're going to have a look at the last over with Bess bowling to Abid Ali, and he defended him pretty well. And, well, maybe that one that just hopped up a little bit unnerved him, and the next ball he went for the big hoik, and away he went to the pavilion.
And it was a little bit wider, it just drifted a little bit, and Abid was in no position to play the stroke.
Yep, didn't get on top of it at all, did he? One thing I did think the other night when watching Ireland bat was how well Andrew Balbirnie plays the sweep shot.
Oh yeah,
he plays it really well. He plays it almost always in front of square or square, rather than dragging it round behind. I mean, he can play the little paddle suits as well.
The thing about Andy Balbirnie,
he plays it beautifully.
Which I'll come to.
Bess in to Babar Azam. who we will jingle up.
We already have.
Have we? Did we jingle him up?
Yes, we did. We can play it again if you want.
No, don't worry, because he does get through his balls quite quickly. Does Dominic Best? So there isn't a lot of time to edit that in. Here comes Best again, yet to go for a run. Defended on the front foot by Babar. The ball rolls all the way back to the bowler, and Babar Azam comes down the wicket to give it a little bit of a prod. Man who played really well on day one. 69, was out first over of day 2, and he's a glorious man to watch when he's in full flight. Here is Best. What can he do? He bowls a flatter one, which Babar goes back to, gets right in behind, and once more just punches the ball back to Best down the right hand side of the pitch.
You know, I'm not sure I've watched Babar Azam at length against the spinners. Most of his glorious strokes that you see are against the pace bowlers.
Yeah, that's probably true. Best in again, throws that one up. He presses forward, and this just glides off the thick outside edge towards backward point. So still Best has admirable figures of 1 for none. Babar waits again. Slip and short square leg. He's in, he bowls. He meets this one, allowing it to turn onto the full face of the bat, deflecting or directing it back up the right hand side of the pitch as the bowler looks, and there is no run. Certainly there seems to be quite a lot of disturbance on the top of the pitch around where the batsmen and the bowlers have been. A lot of dust as this one is stroked away through mid wicket off the back foot. Woakes is out there, and that is the first run off Best. It's the first run of the over. It's the end of the over. Nestlers.
Message S says, I very much regret I won't be able to join you tomorrow, though I might pre-program some tweets based on reasonably predictable events to see how they land.
That would be fun.
Jersey Oat says, thankfully you can no longer get Watney's Red Barrel. Carling Black Label is one of the big sellers in South Africa when they can bloody well sell it. It's actually one of the better ones compared to other mass.
I know what you're trying to say, Nestlers. You're trying to say mass market
beers.
Have you had too many mass market beers this afternoon, Nestlers?
I haven't had a beer since March the 15th.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
COVID.
Not been to the pub. Not been to the pub.
Yeah.
But when you get your groceries, do you not order any beer with it?
I never drink at home.
Do you not?
No.
Gosh, you're a disciplined fellow.
I just find it sad.
Yeah, it is that too. Archer starts new over. Full ball again, which is dug out this time by Babar Azam. And the ball runs into the offside. There is no run.
If there was a Mrs. Nestle, I probably would, but there isn't.
Interesting. The reserve umpire, Steve O'Shaughnessy, is sitting there with a box of balls. Are they thinking that this ball might have gone out of shape?
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. He's just giving a thumbs up to the umpire standing on the field. I've told you my little story about Steve O'Shaughnessy, haven't I? I've told you it many times. Archer in, bowls wide of the off stump, just drag that down a little bit, and Babar lets it go. He was the man who told me the story, the awful story about Harry Pilling and his habits in the shower, or even the bath. Yes, little Harry Pilling.
Did you notice there that the handcuffs have got a little pouch that they keep them in all for themselves?
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it?
It's on his lap.
That's what he's doing at the moment. He's just testing balls to see whether they'll actually go through the. So maybe there has been a query about the ball, but the one that he's got at the moment is not going through the handcuffs. So they won't want that one out there. He's in again, bowls, and this is stroked up to mid off by Babar Azam. There is no run.
Yeah, just going back to you talking about Balbirnie against the spinners. So Balbirnie had a real issue. Ireland play Afghanistan a lot, and Balbirnie had a real issue with Mujib when he first started playing against him. But in the last couple of years, Balbirnie averages 48 against the spinners. Sterling amazingly averages 102 against spin in ODIs in the last few years, and overcame an issue facing Rashid Khan.
Archer in again, bowls and forces onto the back foot. They want a single with certainly Babar Azam, but he got sent back by his captain as the ball went towards Rory Burns running around from gully. Yes, that's interesting, isn't it? I'm just thinking, looking at Steve O'Shaughnessy trying out those balls. I think this is what a fourth umpire gets to do. I don't think there's got any relevance to this game particularly. He's got a big box of balls and he's trying to get them through the handcuffs, and most of them aren't going. So I guess he's saying, once he's done that, these might as well be thrown away.
Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah, Archer again. in, bowls. Oh, now what happened there? He's got bat on it. Rory Burns has tumbled to his left at gully and has stopped that running away to the vacant third man boundary for 4. Very good piece of fielding.
Yeah, very good piece of fielding by the Dread Pirate Rory. Did it keep a little bit low, or was Babar just caught on the crease?
He just seemed to be reaching for it a little bit, didn't he? I don't know. Sometimes, yes, as a batsman, the ball does seem to sort of bounce lower than you expect it to. I don't know whether that means it's necessarily keeping very low. Maybe just got in a position that was a little bit uncomfortable. Anyway, England could do with the wicket of Babar Azam outside of your stump. They won't get it there as he's chopped this away expertly. Will pick up, I think, 2. Dominic Best has run round from deep cover. And indeed, they are back for the second. Babar Azam goes to 3. It's the end of the over. Pakistan are 41 for 2.
We should be able to change.
Brian
now.
Barish says, I remember when Carleen Bassett Seguso, she married Robert Seguso, came on the scene. They made a big deal about her when she came on the scene in 84, 83, 84. Didn't do a whole lot. She did get to the semi-final of the US Open in 1984. Her dad tried to bring gridiron to Canada and was owner of a team in the USFL before he died. Jay Grovers says, I've been homeless, I drunk White Lightning, Frosty Jacks and Tungsten Special on the regular. I still say Carlin is pish with no sense of hypocrisy.
So what you're saying is you've been at low points in your life, and even at those low points in your life, you wouldn't touch Carlin Black Lady. I think that's.
We are supposed to be having a change. I guess we'll do it after this over.
Okay, yeah, let's do it after this over. I'm not sure who's coming on. I haven't got it in front of me. Here comes Bess into Azhar Ali, who turns this with the spin to a shortish mid wicket, a little bit straighter than normal, I would say. So you could argue that it was a short mid on rather than a short mid wicket. But Rory Burns does the fielding.
Tony's coming on and will be reading tweets, and Nestor's will be summarising, and I'll be ball by balling.
No, get him to do tweets because I've got my food delivery coming.
Azhar Ali onto the front foot, squeezes this out into the offside. Sibley runs around to his left to field from extra cover. Was in quickly on the singles. I'm wondering whether England are thinking we weren't really tight enough on the singles in the first innings. This time we've got to be right on our mettle. So Bess has the ball back in his hand again. He bowls a flattered delivery, which is tucked away past that shortish mid wicket. It'll bring him 1 to Woakes coming in off the boundary. Don't think they'll get back for a second. Indeed, they won't. 42 for 2. And England just need to force their way through and get a couple more wickets here. And he's going through the top of the surface, which is not good news in a long-term sense for England. But to get their way back into this game, it might be reasonably good news. Maybe Root will think about having a bowl as well at some point. Bess in again. Bowls. Babar Azam meets that with a full face to the bat and defends it straight back to the bowler. And there is no run. The lead is 149 now, after England were blown away after lunch. Blown away by Yasir Shah, who ended with 4 wickets. Shadab Khan ended up with 2 right at the end. He leaves us alone, does Babar Azam, and that comes back in from a long way outside off stump. It wasn't that far away from his off peg. That really was nice. There was a little bit of dip on that.
Yeah, that overspin, the seam pointing towards leg slip, so it comes up and down and bounces and turns. We know Don Bess is looking for a move. I wonder if he's onto his agent saying, can I get a move to Lancashire?
He's in, bowls a horrible full toss. They won't want him on that basis, but he gets away with it as it's driven to backward point and no further. That is the end of the over. It's the end of my spell for a little while. Pakistan are 42 for 2. Azhar has 13, Babar has 3, and the lead is 149. I'll speak to you later. I'll see thee, as Fred Truman used to say.
I'll see thee.
As Ender said, Pakistan 149 runs ahead, 42 for 2 with Azhar Ali, 13 now having got off that pair after a spell of some 18 balls. Babar Azam is 3 not out and joined by Nestor's and by Tony Bishop.
Tony?
I'm here, yes indeed.
The next tweet is Grits and Grats 10 minutes ago.
I shall find that. I was just quickly looking at Hot Mic first, actually. Don't know if we've done that, but Elias Anderson says, is there any way to talk on here? I don't know, but you can certainly text, which you've obviously found out. Goblings says, haha, good stuff. You down get on Sky. We're certainly looking at down detector and the issues on Zoom.
In comes Jofra Archer, first ball of his 5th over. The 19th of the innings is blocked by Azhar Ali off the back foot up to mid off, and there is no run. captain Azhar Ali on 13. Hasn't had a very good run away from home or really anywhere in the last couple of years, but a very fine player, as Hendo and I were talking about earlier. We see there Joe Root just examining the base of his thumb, which took a bit of a blow before tee. In comes Archer, steaming in, right arm over the wicket. Well, he doesn't really steam in, does he, Jofra Archer? He lopes in. This is punched nicely down the ground by Azhar Ali between stumps and non-striker. Broad has to accompany this back towards the boundary from mid-on. They come through for 2. Azhar moves to 15. The lead now over 150, 151, and the advantage of such a healthy first innings lead is that you can have a quite poor second innings and still be in a position of some comfort on a deteriorating pitch.
It's either a clatter or a very, very long, slow innings. One might help England to a draw. The other one might just keep them in the game for a win. Anything else, it's Pakistan's game, you feel.
Oh, Pakistan have won this, I think.
Steady. We've still got 2 days.
I know, but I'll bet anyone. I'll take your money.
Third ball of the over, and Archer is 2 straight and clipped by Azhar Ali past mid-wicket. They'll get 2, they will not get 3 because the man at mid-wicket manages to haul it in. Azhar moves to 17, starting to look a little bit more comfortable. He's not really getting forward particularly. He's getting a little bit caught on the crease, which could be tricky if Archer gets one to come back into him.
Watching Ben Stokes sort of frame by frame pondering his drop catches there, I think.
That's what I'm doing, yeah.
England are still complaining about this ball. We saw the reserve umpire, Steve O'Shaughnessy, with a box of balls. Broad is still unhappy with it. Eventually gains to fling it back to Jofra Archer. Tosses the ball from hand to hand at the end of his mark, and in he comes. That 13 or so pace run up. He's up to the crease and bowls a shortish delivery, which rises on Azhar Ali, but he plays it well, standing up tall and riding the bounce and getting it to mid-wicket. There is no run. 89 miles an hour from Jofra Archer, with no apparent change of action from the one previously. It was about 84 miles an hour. Such as the skill and physical capacity of the man.
Well, has the umpire looked at the ball yet?
I haven't seen
complaining.
I haven't seen anything.
Has he not even put it through the handcuffs?
I don't think so.
Has he just looked at it visually and gone?
I'm not even
What's
sure.
wrong with that?
I'm not even sure he's had a proper look at it without the handcuffs. In comes Archer, a bouncer which has Azhar Ali hopping and flies through to Butler. There is no run. Azhar didn't look particularly comfortable with that, but he's grinning wildly or widely rather, as he picks himself up from his prone position.
Be wildly as well.
A little bit, yeah. He jumped and tried to evade this, and then lost his footing. Didn't stick the landing. More gymnastics work needed, and ended up flat on his backside and rolling onto his back like an upended turtle.
Right, we are now officially on Sainsbury's delivery watch, people. It's from any time between 5 till 6 o'clock.
Bullish outside off stump after that bouncer. Azhar leaves confidently outside off stump. Decent over from Archer, warming to his task nicely. After 19 overs, Pakistan 46 for 2, lead by 153.
Gits and Grats says, I worked for an Indian businessman who bought a load of Yardley and Lonthric brands.
Lonthric? God.
Yeah, I remember that. And wanted them bought into the 21st century. Such gems as Tramp, Pagan, and funny enough, Black Label.
Pagan.
I remember Tramp, Pagan. I don't remember Pagan. Definitely sounds like a men's aftershave, though, doesn't it? Surely, Pagan.
Pagan.
The great smell of Pagan. Oh no, that was Brute, wasn't it?
Pagan.
The likes of Henry Cooper.
Put on.
Connor McNally says Balbirnie made an amazing 145 against Afghanistan in Dehradun, with about 140 of them coming from the sweep.
Yeah, we were talking about Andy Balbirnie's proficiency with the sweep shot that he displayed to such great effect against Adil Rashid in that fantastic win for Ireland. We do have a change of bowling. Dom Bess is out of the attack at the Brian Statham end, and Mr. Reliable is on.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan. On the Ashes tour, not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do. In
he comes to Babar Azam. course, he got the Pakistan captain Azhar Ali in the first innings with one that nipped back. Azhar does have that slight weakness where he plants his front foot and gets caught on the pad. 2 slips in the gully only as Woakes is in. Back of a length to Babar Azam, who stands up tall and just drops this into the offside, and there is no run. Babar was happy to take his time to get off the mark and get moving in the first innings, but after lunch on day 1 he batted quite beautifully.
Your tweets coming, Tony?
I certainly can do that. Jay Grover says, ironic Nestle, I only drink alone. Chris the Choir's talking about sad to read that Durex adhesive tape is no longer sold in Australia. Much sniggering when young female Aussie supply teacher asked a class of teenage boys, where's the Durex? I didn't know they made tape.
Woakes in full and met with the full face of the bat by Babar Azam. Not much of a push at it, but he's timed it very well, just to the left hand of mid-off, and they come back for 2. Stuart Broad has to race after this ball, saying, come back here, you bastard.
Anna Forsyth says, talking of shit European beers available abroad, they bloody love a Stella over here, maybe because they have something even worse here called simply Canadian.
Stella is an odd beer. It's sold as a premium brand in terms of its advertising, but it's not drunk as such.
No. Well, it's got an unfortunate nickname, isn't it?
Yeah, we won't go into that. But it is beloved of a football fan. Chris Woakes' turn to complain about the ball now to the umpire. He's saying, please give it the handcuff test. I don't like this ball. And,
well, now you believe it. If Chris, as honest as the day is long, Woakes is got an issue, then there's an issue.
That's a good tactic, isn't it?
Give it to the nice bloke.
Richard Illingworth has put it through the handcuffs and says, come on lad, just bowl. Still looking at it quizzically, but I don't think he's going to get much change out of umpire Richard Illingworth. He's in. Chris Woakes from the Statham end. 3rd ball of the over. Outside off stump, but a good lead from Babar Azam. Left it on length. I think it might have passed over the top of off stump through to the keeper. There is no run.
Oh, excuse me.
It's coming sharply off the seam, but a decent enough lead by Babar. Not as high as I thought it was, but well enough outside off stump, and he's covered the potential movement with that front pad. In comes Woakes again, 4th ball of the over, bowls, and back goes Babar. Pushes a single into the offside. Azhar wants a single, but pushes the ball into the offside. Azhar wanted a single, was sent back rightly by Babar Azam, fielded at cover, and there is no run. Pakistan 48 for 2, lead by 155.
Go on, Tony.
John Batham, as well as Toppers Senior, Annie Chave, and us are in an ongoing discussion about where it seems to me Annie is like Queen Canute attempting to push back the sea of Butler out.
Penultimate ball of the over from Woakes. Outside off stump, edged and gone. This time Ben Stokes does take it in front of first slip. A lovely delivery from Chris Woakes, just hanging the bat. Outside the off stump was Babar Azam. Woakes went wider on the crease, hung it out. Babar couldn't resist the firm push, and Ben Stokes takes the catch. The dangerous and magisterial at times Babar Azam gone for 5. Pakistan 3 down. Taken low to his left by Ben Stokes, making up perhaps for his earlier error. Babar Azam walks off grimacing, made 69 in the first innings, now 5 in the second. Pakistan 48 for 3, lead by 155, and their best batter gone. Tiny sliver of hope for England.
Well, yeah, tiny. As I say, you feel there's a clatter of wickets brings hope. Anything more means you might as well keep Pakistan batting and not give the runs away, and slow down when you have to go in and bat yourself. Anything in the middle leads to a Pakistan victory, barring an extraordinarily strong second innings batting performance, and that will be tough against this Pakistan attack.
Yeah, that's the thing. England didn't bat badly, particularly in the first innings, but the bowling was so good, so good from all of the Pakistan bowlers.
Well, yeah, and you know, quite rightly, England have talked about slight change of gear under Silverwood. It's putting that premium price on your wicket and all of those things, but just occasionally that might get shown up. And it got shown up because a lot of batsmen got in, spent lots of time at the crease, and still didn't get a decent score.
I know that is the downside. Of course, you're doing that to try and make things easier for you to score runs later. But having said that, it's hard to think that being hyper aggressive against that attack and that high quality of bowling would have worked either. So sometimes you have to just salute high quality opponents, and that's exactly what Pakistan have proved so far in this Test match. Anyway, that brings the another high class operator to the middle, Pakistan's number 5.
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly.
Assad Shafiq facing up to the last ball of the over from Chris Woakes. Half forward is Assad Shafiq, and off the inside part of the bat it goes to Ollie Pope at mid-wicket. He's on naught. Azhar Ali is 17, and Pakistan 48 for 3, lead by 155.
End of the over. It's impossible to tell, right? Jay Grover says, as someone drinking Stella Artois at the moment, it's not the elixir of the elite and reassuringly cheap at my local Tesco's. Okay, good. That's pretty much up to date on tweets. Special Brew, I seem to recall, was the drink of the more sort of alfresco drinkers' preferred can, wasn't it?
That stuff was nasty.
Alfresco drinkers is a very delicate way of putting it.
How very polite of you, Tony.
Liam O'Mara, that's why I asked, much higher than I would have thought. I don't know if that's another conversation that's ongoing.
Oh, I think he was the guy who asked us how much Joe Root was averaging the last 3 years. Anyway, so it turns out that all of that was a change of bowling for Dom Bess. He is now bowling at the James Anderson end, where the off spinners do seem to prefer bowling at this ground.
If the pitch isn't good for pace, get this lad on his bowling's ace.
Oh, well, in this innings, 2 for 1 in his 1 for 2 rather in his 3 overs. This is not turned off the hip. In fact, it bounces off Azhar Ali's hip to short fine leg, and they come through for a leg bye. A little bit of bounce and turn from Dom Bess to Azhar Ali. Assad Shafiq facing up to Dom Bess now. What have we got? We've got the slip, we've got the short leg, a little bit deeper Ollie Pope. It's Stokes at slip, as it is wont to the spinners. Oh, he beats Assad Shafiq on the outside edge, who pressed forward but didn't really have any idea if or how much the ball was turning, and he's beaten on the outside edge. This has been a really good spell from Dominic Bess. So the groping forward and playing inside the line of the ball as he tried to guess how much the ball was going to turn. I think you're better off in general playing for the original line of the ball, and then if it turns, it turns. This does turn from outside off stump, but it's too short, and Assad Shafiq fends it off into the leg side. There is no run.
My neighbour doing a very good impersonation of a Sainsbury's delivery lorry just there.
What, arriving 2 hours late and having most of the things you didn't ask for?
Very good. They're always on time.
A little bit too full, and Assad Shafiq drives pleasantly into the offside, but straight to cover, and there is no run. Assad's another one.
I had a conversation with Waitrose the other day when they delivered. I'd ordered some quite drinkable Cabernet Sauvignons, and I said, where are they? He said, you got a Shiraz instead. I said, well, if I'd wanted a Shiraz, I would have asked for a Shiraz.
You're listening to First World Problems with Tony Bishop. Bess in, and Assad tries to turn this to leg, and was very early on the stroke, and it comes off a leading glove, which you don't see very often, and pops up through where silly point would have been. There is no run. Bess is landing these absolutely beautifully. He's got the perfect line and length on this pitch, which is not something you've often said of Dom Bess on a consistent basis in Test cricket, but he is bowling well. Last ball of this, his 4th over, which he's rattled through, fires this down the leg though, and Assad Shafiq is off the mark with a little turn around the corner. Archer's going to chase this from short fine leg, but they will come through for 2. Assad Shafiq on 2, Azhar Ali on 17. Pakistan 51 for 3, lead by Kevin Peterson's favourite score, 158. The over, please.
Yes, I was otherwise engaged. Annie Chave and Toppers and any number of people are still engaged in a conversation that seems to be meandering all over the place. Hombre Nuevo says, as a Woakes fan, I'm loving it after Anderson and Broad. Loving it. I'm loving it. In that after Anderson and Broad, Woakes is making himself undroppable unless you are a Butler. In when we play England, wish he'd travelled better.
Yes,
stats aren't as bad as people say, I don't think.
No, but they're not as... He's spectacular in England. Averages just under 20, and I think it's around 40, or certainly high 30s overseas, which is not ideal. Woakes in back of the length, and Azhar Ali stands up tall and tries to push a single into the offside, but is sent back rightly by Assad Shafiq. There is no run. Certainly had a really bad Ashes tour in 17-18.
I'm really confused by the next tweet from Jersey Oak, Tony, when you read it out.
Is it one I have to read very carefully before I read?
No. I'm just confused by it.
Okay.
If you want to read it out. Yeah.
We see the Pakistan batting coach Yunus Khan continuing to make copious notes, full and on the toes, and clipped by Azhar Ali round the corner to Bess at long leg. They come through for a single. Looking very handsome and trim is Yunus Khan. Looking very happy with life.
So he should be, the way the score's going. Jersey Oak, yes, it's okay for you bastards able to buy beer. It's still banned here in South Africa. I've got to make my own. Tonight's task will be to bottle 20 litres of it, ready to make to take the lid. To something about putting a lid on the fermenter. What are they brewing? That great big brewery in right next to Cape Town.
Beer is banned in South Africa.
Is it?
Hold that thought.
Really?
Full and clipped by Assad Shafiq beautifully through square leg. Don Bess isn't going to be able to get around to that, is he? Oh, full leg dive, dived straight past the ball, and in fact it didn't really matter anyway because it had already gone for 4.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
I think what Josie Oak is saying is that it's been banned. During COVID.
Oh, so you can't buy in the supermarket or anything?
Well, it encourages people. It's a bringer together of people when you're presumably trying to keep people apart. So I sort of see that logic.
But yeah, okay. I think anyone who's been to South Africa will tell you that beer is very much not banned.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I know.
In fact, it's very available and very cheap.
You'll have to cue me, Knuckle. You mentioned 17-18 a minute ago. That's about the year I'm watching on my feed.
In comes Woakes, 4th ball of his second over, the 22nd of the innings. His 2-leg sidey again and clipped by Assad Shafiq. Just a single this time to deep square leg. He moves to 7. Azhar Ali on to 18. You have a small gap for a tweet.
Joe Graver says, I love it when Tony's voice breaks when he's feeling persecuted or frustrated. Proper falling down vibes. I'm frustrated, not persecuted. I'm frustrated with Zoom and my inability to see what Knuckle is so adroitly describing.
What's even more annoying is there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. 5th ball of the over from Woakes, bowling to Azhar Ali now, right arm over the wicket and beats him on the outside edge. This one doesn't come in as much as I was expecting, just holds its line. A ludicrous appeal from Joe Root at first slip that no one else was remotely interested in, and there is no run. The Bear is in the house, and he'll be, I think with Tony's issues, I think Bear you'll be doing ball by ball from 5:35, to which Bear in typically bearish fashion just says fine with a Gallic shrug.
Did he at the same time? Comme ci, comme ça, je ne sais pas. Tout c'est bon. Ah oui. Only in French, obviously.
Half appeal from Chris Woakes as he strikes Azhar Ali on the pad, but it was too high. Azhar Ali getting a little bit squared up and a little bit closed off as he walks across to off stump to try and play this to leg. Comes off the top part of the pad / thigh pad into the offside. There is no run. End of the over. Azhar Ali is on 18. Assad Shafiq is on 7. Pakistan 57 for 3, lead by 164 tweets.
Oh yeah, we have a clarification from Jersey Oak, who says alcohol and cigarettes are banned with the lockdown. All that's happened is the racketeers are making a killing and the government are bankrupting themselves. Yes, well, the sale of alcohol has gone through the roof over here. Obviously, people are have been bringing it home. But no, the people can't get their hands on the stuff enough.
Yeah, prohibition.
Not
is never
necessarily a
really
good thing, but it does mean the government does make some money because it's well taxed.
Yeah, I don't think prohibition has ever really been shown to work anywhere.
No, it certainly didn't necessarily work in the US, did it?
Well, it worked if you were a mafioso, I think, but not really for anybody
Precisely,
else.
except on Valentine's Day.
Assad Shafiq facing up to Don Bess. He's on 7 off 8. Lovely player, Assad Shafiq. A very classy operator. Has been in international cricket for a long time, just like Azhar, and he pushes this down the ground as Assad Shafiq, and then in busy fashion takes the single, and they'll get 2 buzzers. Somehow the throw wasn't particularly good, but somehow it scuttled through both Butler and Slip. Stokes at Slip, and Archer has to rescue the situation. Assad Shafiq, from a little push to mid-on, has got himself 2. Let's see what happened here. The throw came in, and it took a bit of an awkward bounce, and did Butler and Stokes alike. A little bit unlucky. Bess is in, second ball of the over to Assad Shafiq. Tosses this up on off stump, but keeps on coming with the arm. No sharp turn, and Assad blocks back to the bowler. There is no run.
Bear with me for a few minutes. My man from Sainsbury's has arrived.
Ah, fantastic. Well, I hope you get everything you ordered, unlike my bloody wine. Chris the Choir.
Hold that thought as
I have to hold.
Bess is in, and back of a length. This a little bit too short, and Assad can defend very comfortably into the onside. There is no run. Given that it's Don Bess bowling, we might wait till the end of the over.
I think that's a good shout, Michael.
Rubbing this red Duke ball, which they've complained about to no avail a couple of times, on the back of his trousers. He's in from the James Anderson end. With that cross breeze, they might just get a little bit of drift, but he fires this far too short, and Assad can again punch comfortably off the back foot. Good fielding though by Rory Burns at mid-wicket means that there is no run. And Bess has gone away from that really good line and length that he was bowling a few overs ago, showing the fact that he doesn't quite have those overs under his belt that you want as a spinner. Time to learn, but learning in Test cricket is difficult. For an ultimate ball of the over, Bess again fires this a little bit short, but this bounces sharply, and Assad Shafiq has to rip the bottom hand away from the bat and just defend it into the offside. There is no run. That flatter delivery from Bess that really did bounce from nowhere seemingly, and struck Azhar Ali on the bottom hand. It would have been a very simple catch for a silly point had there been one, but England aren't in a position to be able to put that many men round the bat. Last ball of the over from Dominic Bess. Fires this down leg, and Assad Shafiq just helps it on its way. A really poor delivery from Don Bess after a good spell. 4 runs to the final leg boundary. End of the over, Pakistan 63 for 3, lead by 170. Tweets.
Yes, Chris the Choir, who I'm delighted to say we actually now can remember to call Chris the Choir. My mental muscle memory has stopped calling him Christ the Choir. Says, on the subject of beverages and supermarkets, I have just received an email announcing M&S's first alcohol-free G&T in a can. And it tastes as good as the real thing. Not him saying that, that's what the ad says. He says, I won't be testing that claim. Quite right too, it sounds like an absolute abomination to me.
I do wonder why, there's something about a refreshing pint, a cold pint, but why would you want an alcohol-free gin and tonic if you just drink a proper non-alcoholic drink?
Jay Graver says, self-enforced prohibition works in Nestle's house, and Tony's when some DOS gives him a Shiraz. Leah says, good news everyone, I have a date for the move and someone to rent our apartment after that. Well, that is good news, and I hope it goes incredibly well, Leah.
Yeah, that is good news.
Can be a stressful time.
Oh God, house hunting, and moving, horrible.
Messi Jazz says the level of Tony Bishop's indignation about being sent Shiraz instead of a cab serve is almost equivalent to that needed to fire up a Ben Stokes killer spell of bowling. I'll get myself up to Manchester straight away, Messers, and see what I can do.
We did see Ben Stokes warming up in the innings break, and he's not on-field captain anymore because Root is back on the field. But interesting to see if England get desperate enough to give Ben Stokes a bowl. I really don't see the point at this stage of proceedings, with Pakistan leading by so much and 2 more back-to-back tests to come.
I kind of go along with you there. Anna Forsyth says, I'm trying to keep up but people keep phoning my office number. She doesn't say that, I did. How inconsiderate. Still, when I lose comms, I've got Bess, who looks like he's been playing in the mud all day. I hope he's got supplies of Persil or other detergents are available. Are you following the cricket, Anna? That's something I'd like to know. Victoria playing somebody or other in some Canadian league or other? I shall go along. Carry on. Farong. On the alcohol restrictions for the locals here in Bangladesh to purchase alcohol, they need to. I need to stop, don't I? No, we're watching a replay.
We're watching a highlights reel of how the wickets have fallen.
Hard to tell from where I am. On the alcohol restrictions for the locals here in Bangladesh to purchase alcohol, they need to produce a medical certificate. Sleeping disorder is the most common reason.
That's magnificent.
I remember when I was living in Dubai, I used to have a special pass to buy alcohol, and I could only buy beer, not wine. So I had to score wine from some. You'd order it in a bar from some dodgy individual, and then a guy would drop it off at the top of the street in a brown paper parcel. It was all very clandestine, and felt very shady when I procured my wine in Dubai.
Remember, you may know the Canadian snooker player Bill Werbenick.
Yes, he was huge. He used to drink about 6 or 7 pints. He had a medical condition where he claimed he needed to, didn't he?
For a hand tremor or something.
Yeah. But sadly, I believe he's no longer with us. He's gone to the great snooker hall in the sky. Josie Oak says, I've also got some fruit ciders fermenting. They have jazz hands, and sends us a picture. The blueberry should be a headbanger at 9%, and the pineapple would be more sedate 6%. Oh, they do have jazz hands. Yes, there they are.
Very good. We're back with
live
action
kind of
now.
Rubber gloves to cover the jars that they're in.
We're back with live action now, and Woakes is into Azhar Ali again, getting him playing around his front pad. Both of these two are a little bit susceptible to that ball coming in and planting their front foot and playing around the front pad, and Azhar Ali forces this awkwardly to Dom Sibley at mid-wicket. There is no run.
Perhaps we should tell Roger Pineapple. I shall wait until you let me know that Chris Woakes has bowled the next ball, Napple.
1 for 8 of his 2.1 overs. Was a little bit too leg-sidey in the last over. That's a better line though, outside off stump and left alone by Azhar Ali. Through to the keeper, there is no run. The ball is dead. Go ahead.
Me? Yes, Conor McNally says Shafiq's pretty anonymous for someone who's played 74 tests, averaging almost 40. Too classy to be nuggety, too nuggety to be classy. He should consider a mohawk or something to stand out.
Yeah. Come to that after this ball from Chris Woakes, third ball of the over to the Pakistan captain Azhar Ali, and again he's slightly squared up by this one and playing with half a batter, sort of leading edge to cover. There is no run. Pakistan, having not been able to play at home for so long, playing in the UAE, they almost became slightly invisible, and then for a little while, and you had to be paying quite close attention to them, or closer attention than most UK media did, to realise these are really good cricketers and a really good team, and Assad Shafiq, I think, falls into that category. Wider on the crease goes Chris Woakes, strikes Azhar Ali on the pad, might have been inside edge and probably going down leg as well, hands on heads, but Azhar doesn't look comfortable with this line of attack from Chris Woakes, angling the ball back into him. Yeah, big inside edge onto the pad. Would have been interesting had the inside edge not intervened. A wry smile from Chris Woakes. There is no run. Don't worry. Bear will be doing the next ball by ball stint,
which I find deeply frustrating.
I know it's
not that he isn't wonderful. He is
deeply annoying for all of us. Very full from Chris Woakes from wider on the crease, and that is absolutely stone dead. Up goes the finger from umpire Kettleborough. Azhar Ali surely is not going to waste his review on himself twice. That's even more plumb than the first innings. That's almost a Yorker. And Assad Shafiq says, "Sorry, Skip, you're on your way." Pakistan 4 down now. All over Chris Woakes has been working for that, pushing the ball into the right-hander Azhar Ali, who's really uncomfortable against that angle all of a sudden. He planted his front foot and is playing around his front pad, and finally has a reward. Really clever bowling this from Chris Woakes. Azhar Ali gone for a slightly torturous 18 off 54 with 3 boundaries in that time. Pakistan 63 for 4, lead by 170.
Yeah, under 270, chaseable. I just feel anything. As we said, the 294 for 4, the highest ever chase. Yeah, I think that was in 2008, England against New Zealand. And you feel anything above that is going to be tough. Nestlers has returned.
Yeah,
did they deliver everything you asked for, Nestlers? Or
Yes.
did they have any substitutions?
No subs. I don't order Cabernet Sauvignon or whatever you ordered.
Cabernet Sauvignon. It's the most quaffed grape you could have.
Yeah, but I don't drink at home.
Ah. Oh, there we are then. That would explain a lot.
And that brings the Pakistan wicketkeeper to the middle, who did not bat particularly well in the first innings, despite having coming off a superb first-class season and a decent Test career.
Everyone knows he's not as bold as he can hit the ball. Really quite far if the bowling's so far, the runs are sure to flow. Oh, he bats and he keeps, and that's what the deal is, because he's Muhammad Rizwan.
Still just the 2 slips in the gully. There is the short mid-wicket in place. 2 men back on the hook, or back on the deep on the leg side, deep square leg and long leg, mid on. Mid off is almost at short extra cover. There's a backward point as well.
Did I've missed a wicket.
Yeah, indeed. Your delivery man brought the wicket of Azhar Ali. Dom Sibley, in fact, is coming out of the short mid-wicket region into 3rd slip now. So it's 3 slips in the gully, a backward point, a man at sort of straightish extra cover. It's quite hard to define that position. Wide-ish mid-off, and the mid-on, and the 2 men back on the hook. Mid-on's just moved a little bit wider. In comes Woakes to Mohammad Rizwan, who defends this from the crease awkwardly out into the offside, and there is no run. End of a really good over from Chris Woakes, removing the Pakistan captain for 18, and Pakistan 63 for 4.
Leah lets us know that we already have a new flat beginning in September, so the house hunting party's already done. She says, I now want Bangladeshi and Kuwaiti citizens in Germany to be forced to have at least 3 pilsners a day under medical supervision, of course. Messi Jez saying, presumably the cigars will be called Dick Weller and Roger. Very good. That's for the ciders, not cigars. Where did I get cigars from?
Oh, jazz hands.
But
yes.
we're going back to the jazz hands, which would be good. Colin Rosenthal says, snooker players go to the great crucible in the sky. Yes, of course they do. Anna Forsyth says, it took me 5 websites to get to a time zone on the schedule. One website says 9 AM Canadian time, which I assume means it's just started. Following 2 cricket games plus doing my job might be beyond me, but I'll try.
I believe in you, Anna. 1 for 10, Dom Besses off his 5 overs. The last over wasn't particularly good, but he's back on that good line and length now. A little bit full, perhaps. Assad Shafiq pushes into the offside. There is no run. Pakistan just need a partnership to arrest this little bit of momentum that England are building up in this very long 3rd session of day 3. Besses fires this horribly short, and Assad Shafiq is on the back foot and pulls out to James Anderson on the deep mid-wicket boundary. Unless that was bowling to get Assad Shafiq off strike. I'm not quite sure what that was about. Bowling to Mohammad Rizwan. I heard a yelp of disapproval from the bear in the green room.
He might have just opened the fridge and realised there isn't enough in there.
I think we are actually out of beer.
Well, that's why he yelped then.
I know, there's 1 beer, he says.
1 beer.
That's why.
Now, who does that remind us of?
He's found a can. He's found the last remaining can. Jez, your care package lasted us 3 and a bit Test matches. A little bit of bounce from Don Bess. Rizwan forces off the back foot into the onside. There is no run. In comes Bess, collar up and buttons fastened like Graham Swan of yore. Rizwan pushes this into the offside. It bounces up into the gloves of Butler as Rizwan plays it very softly. Butler then whips off the gloves, but Rizwan's back foot was firmly planted. There is no run. Bess is getting some turn when he's landing it on that length consistently. He's proving difficult to play. There is a little bit of rough outside the right-hander's off stump. Bowled much better in this second innings. That's a little bit too full though, and Rizwan can flick this up with the bottom hand to Broad at mid-off. There is no run. 1 ball left of this over. It's the 1 run off it so far, of that long hop that Assad Shafiq pulled out to the deep mid-wicket fielder. In comes best to Mohammad Rizwan. Last ball over the over. A little bit of bounce, but Rizwan, who thought about backing away and cutting, gets in line, blocks it back to the bowler. There is no run. 1 run off the over from Best. He's 1 for 11 off his 6. Pakistan 64 for 4, lead by 171 tweets.
Yes, indeed. Jay Grover says, in 1997, when I was living in India, I was at a beach bar and ordered a beer. I didn't realise. I didn't realise it was one of the staggered dry election days. A policeman beckoned me over. I shouted. He ordered 2 gigantic pots of tea. Much old monk and Fenny was drunk in the teacups. That was the old prohibition trick, wasn't it? Drinking hooch out of teacups and teapots.
We heard it in a sadder context with you talking to Ashley Gray. The plastic bottle full of the plastic.
Oh yeah,
bottle
very much
bag.
so. Not Fred. Says you're all far too negative on English prospects in this match. Chasing 265 in the 4th innings is quite possible. I think I said 270. So yeah, I was in that region.
That would make for a fascinating end to the Test match, but this is not an easy pitch, and it's a very good Pakistan attack. Short outside off stump and cut hard by Assad Shafiq. He does cut well. There was a diving attempt at a stop from James Anderson. I'm not sure if that carried or not. Anderson's fingers took most of the pace out of the ball, and Burns can accompany it or could retrieve it from the third man region. Was that in the air? Oh, it just died before it got to Jimmy Anderson, but technically that is a chance. It would have been a fantastic catch, but technically Assad Shafiq has been dropped playing his favourite shot.
The pimps in the crib, man. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Very tough chance from James Anderson. Assad Shafiq technically dropped on 14, moves now to 16. Not a good ball from Chris Woakes, really, but they all count if they get caught down the leg side. Another poor ball from Woakes, really slightly lost it in the first part of this over, having bowled so well in the previous one, taken by Butler down the leg side. There is no run. Anderson, perhaps it was just through him too quickly. He didn't get his hands down quick enough and managed to only deflect it a little bit. A tough but catchable chance for James Anderson at backward point. We'll have a change at the end of this over. Bear will come in, and Hendo will replace Nestlers, and Tony will stay on. Woakes in, Foolish on off stump. Assad Shafiq blocks to cover. There is no run. Tweets.
Yes, Leah says, can Pakistan this and lose from here? Or can England out England's Pakistaning? Good, beautifully put, I think.
Yeah. Well, Pakistan haven't been very Pakistani for some years now.
Leah says, I say shoot Shubal Lux's delivery man for delivering that wicket.
Outside off stump and blocked by Woakes into the off stump and in the offside, and there is no run.
Jay Grover clearly remembers Ian Pearce's arrival. His bold statement as he came through the door going, I've bought a beer for me. And pulled 1 beer out of his pocket. He wasn't Mr. Popular that day.
Well, Ian told me about
that later.
He'd actually bought 2 beers but drank one of them on the way.
He drank one on the way, yes. Yes, he did. Still not quite enough to go round, though, was it? 2 beers only.
Woakes outside off stump, and Assad Shafiq prods forward off the outside part of the bat. It goes to Gully. There is no run. Assad not looking terribly comfortable. As good a player as he is, particularly off the back foot, there is no run. Woakes bowling very nicely.
I'm confused by this match at the moment.
How so?
I don't know where it's going.
Well, it's well poised. It could go
in comes
a number of
Woakes,
ways.
Foolish outside off stump. Assad stretches forward and blocks into the offside. Anderson does a bit of pointless fielding that he didn't need to do at cover. There is no run. End of the 26th over. Pakistan 66 for 4, lead by 173. A few tweets, and then it'll be Hendo, Tony, and the Bear.
Hello, Tony. Earth to
Hello.
Tony.
Hearing you, Ness, and seeing you, Hendo, is absolutely not a problem.
But seeing the tweets seems to be a problem for you.
No,
as
seeing
well.
the tweets is absolutely fine. I'm following them. What I'm not seeing is everything's going along in sort of very jerky motion on the video.
Well, I've got
exactly
that.
the problem others had.
But I've also got a telly that has it working perfectly. If you will go to these companies like Virgin, what can we do? Where is the bear? Has he arrived yet? Oh, he's just slipping into the seat vacated by Knackle, who's off to Cardiff. If you're in Cardiff, say hello. And the bear is almost in his place. I'll do this first ball. It's Dominic Best coming in, making room for himself, Rizwan, and he'll get a single as he crafts that into the offside around about extra cover. So he is off the mark, and the bear is here for the first time today.
He is, and I'm going to take over ball by ball, Hendo.
You are indeed. That is the plan.
Well, Bess, how's he bowled? He bowled while I was screaming for the other. He just bowls too fucking flat, man. Too flat. That one's floated up reasonably well on off stump and played out to mid wicket, and there's no run.
It's all about getting his length right for Dominic Bess. I mean, I suppose you can say that about any bowler, but
it's particularly different. It's different for a spinner, isn't it? I mean, you can get it more wrong as a seam bowler, I think, than you can as a spinner. The one thing you don't want to do in a cardinal sin is bowling short. That one's full. Ooh, and Archer slipped over as he picked it up. I hope he hasn't turned his ankle.
Ooh,
he stayed on the ground. No, he's laughing.
He's laughing about it.
So
that doesn't mean he's not hurt, though.
No, I don't think he is. I think his feet went away from him. There's mud on his... looks like he's lost a stud on his back foot, too. When he gets up and hobbles away, his foot went from underneath him.
Could have done his ankle quite nastily there.
Yeah, he could have done there, but fortunately I think it just went straight away.
It also turned, if it's possible, the right way from...
Yeah, didn't fold
the
underneath.
enforced freeze frame view that I'm seeing. Had it turned the ankle the other way, i.e. he'd gone over on it, it would have been
nasty. Tossed up nicely by Bess and defended into the offside by no one. That's what you've got to do. You just got to create that pressure. Make them come to you. You ball them out all day as a spinner.
Yeah, but it's much more easily said than done, Bear, as you...
I do understand that, but that one's turned in a little bit, but probably a little bit short, bounced a bit too high, cuts him in the mid-riff, no run.
You look at his figures and you have to say they're pretty darn good. I mean, he's bowled nearly the best part of 6-7 overs, only gone for 13 runs, picked up a wicket, an important wicket. Yes, this will be the last ball of the 7th over.
And in comes Best for that last ball and tosses it up nicely outside off stump, just jabbed into the offside. They head off for a quick run and they make it quite easily. Do we get an Assad Shafiq out? He's a classy batsman.
I just don't think there should be a single there. I think Archer's a bit on his heels. I mean, he was having slipped over, but in general, I don't like it when you've got a ring of 3 reasonably tight for the spinner and they're still getting a single.
Yeah, I agree, and it's really frustrating when you're a bowler as well because you want to concentrate on one batsman.
Yep.
So Chandler played today. I got a bit scared, didn't watch the opening. Then we were still there after half an hour. Hadn't lost a wicket. Started watching. Looked dangerous. Mohammed Abbas looked bloody dangerous this morning. Then I turned off because I thought Pope's going to get out. And then we got to lunch, and then he was out. And then we lost a couple of wickets, and I started watching it, and Broady hit it, and I thought, we're screwed here. And then I saw the beginning. I didn't see the beginning, but I was out and I was watching the text, and I saw Stokes dropped a wicket when we had a 8 for 1. I was like, man, but I come round here 69 for 4 is an okay position, I reckon. Woakes is in from where we were anyway. Clipped into the leg side, and Rizwan wants a single. He's not going to get it.
I mean, people will say, I think, what was Fred just saying? 265 is gettable. I don't know. I think this pitch is beginning to do things. Woakes is getting a lot of life out of it off the seam. Bess is getting a certain amount from it. And when you think of how much more skillful the two spinners for Pakistan are, how much more experienced, certainly in the case of Yasir Shah, and this pitch wearing again by, I don't know, lunchtime tomorrow, I'm not very confident in those chances.
But
at all.
We'd have a sniff at that 260. Much beyond that. I'd still put Pakistan as favourites if they get 260, but there's plenty of time left in the game. I mean, the 2 to 5, well, certainly the most defining moment of this game, Woakes in and cut nicely by Rizwan, but straight to point where Jimmy Anderson fields and there's no run. Was the opening spell yesterday evening by Pakistan's opening bowlers, wasn't it? I mean, they ripped apart our top order. And that's the difference in the sides, that, and I'm afraid to say Josh Butler missing fucking Shah Masood twice on 45 is the difference in the first innings scores.
Well, if you look at the fact that between them, Babar Azam and Shah Masood scored 225, I think it was, of their runs in the first innings, and they only scored 5 between them in the second innings.
Which means hopefully they've got certain fragilities in their batting order. Nicely pitched up, nicely clipped by Rizwan. Can't beat a diving Archer going away to his right at mid-on, but they do get through for a single.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I mean, again, if Pakistan bat through till tea tomorrow, but they may not make it that far, because as I say, I think there is life in this pitch. Woakes is bowling extremely well. If he gets his line right, just a couple of times down the leg side, he's been clipped away. But generally speaking, he's making it jabber around both ways, I would say. And if he's doing that, I wonder what Pakistan might do.
Woakes in, cuts him in half, but it's too high. I think it's got him in the knackers, or just above, because he looks a bit winded.
Or as we say, the manly accoutrements.
No, the manly accoutrements, indeed. Very nice way.
The old MAs.
Yeah, absolutely, the old MAs.
He's a short man, but it's still probably going over, and it's cut back sharply to catch him there.
See, if you're getting that to do, if you're doing that at Woakes' speed, what are you going to be doing at Rizwan and Naseem Shah's speed?
Rizwan? Oh, I hope he's not. Well,
did I say Rizwan? I meant to say
with his gloves on.
Shaheen.
Well, presumably.
It's been a long day, guys.
I mean, yeah, it has been. It's bloody hot as well. Oh, that's another one. There'll be an appeal, but it's probably going down leg. Needs that to be probably 4 or 5 inches over the other. Don't bother reviewing that route. No, route. No.
Is he reviewing?
You can't review that. He wants to, but don't. It's going down. The best it's going to be is umpire's call.
Yes. Am I doing tweets, by the way, or is it Tony still doing tweets?
Honestly, Hendo, if you didn't mind, I'm probably more useful doing tweets because it's hard to comment on.
No, I
can't see very well.
No, absolutely. It's just I didn't want to read out some tweets in case that was your job. I didn't want to, rain on your parade. Although
tread on my metaphorical toes.
Have we had all sorts of technical problems today, boys?
Don't tread on my accoutrements. I don't want that.
It was actually missing. High and wide down the leg side. So yeah, route
4 review
would have been a 4 review. That one is again aimed in at that stump, clipped nicely by Assad Shafiq down to mid wicket, no run.
Yes, the lead's 177. Actually, have we got any tweets? That was the end of the year. We might as well get through a few if there are any. Tony.
Well, our own Not Fred says England have won 2 tests having conceded 100 runs on the first innings in the last 15 months. Yes, Fred, but I think what you've got to factor in is the very high quality of the opposition attack here. Yes, that's what you have to do. Jay Grover says, I wasn't promoting alcohol consumption. I was just liked accepting the hypocrisy of the Indian police skiving off work to get battered with a long-haired 18-year-old, which was Jay then. Back to the story. Yeah,
you can promote drinking if you like, Jay. Doesn't offend me. 70 for 4, Pakistan. I see we had a tip today on Hot Mic, or we had tips to the tune of $36.
We've had a couple. Somebody wanted to hear more Scottish accents.
How much money? How much money we got?
$36 today.
No. $6?
$36.
Oh, $36.
Hendo, the right question would have been, who was generous enough to give us that?
Exactly.
I don't care.
Which I will let you know in just a moment.
I want the numbers. That's all I'm interested in.
So if you fancy joining those people and upping those tips, you know what to do. Go to Hot Mic, get the Hot Mic app and sign up with GC Radio. It's not case sensitive. That's a full toss and there's no one down at deep square leg. It was off a toppish edge, but it's raced away to the boundary for one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hear Zoom's not been very good today.
It's impossible, Bear.
Really? I don't know what that is.
Only the feed that we watch. Everything else has been fine. Audio, seeing you, all of that stuff. It's the feed coming through it that is everyone's found difficult today. So
it's a bit jumpy here. That's carved out to cover and there's no run.
Well, it's been all right for those of us who've got a TV to watch, I have to say. If I was relying on the Zoom feed to commentate, I'd be in a similar situation.
I could probably sort it in front of a TV tomorrow. Then it's just a question of working out the time difference.
Well, it might be all right tomorrow. That's defended out to the offside and there's no run.
In fact, I will have a plan B tomorrow. It was the generosity of Paul Wyman and Taiping Shan.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Who you need to say thank you very much rather than how much.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for future
reference. He goes back. Ooh, now I fancy, I can't see, I'd have to check that on the replay, but I fancy he kind of jabbed at that a bit uppishly. and it bounced just before Broad, who's at point, and burst through him, and then got down towards the boundary. Bess isn't happy, and ended up being 3 runs. Let's have a look here from side on. It got up on him quite big, and he carved it in the air, but he didn't hit it very well, and Broad got himself all tangled, and it bounced just in front of him and did that spinny thing because he hit it so badly, and spun past him. He wasn't sure if it was gunning. Got himself in the wrong position.
Yeah, he was positioned there for more spin than actually came from that ball, wasn't he? And
he thought it was going to really kick.
Yeah.
And it didn't. 77 for 4. And in again comes Bess, and defended into the ground. There's no run. The problem I find with Bess, even though he's got a wicket, is I just don't find him threatening, and he looks like he's just going to leak runs. And if I was a batsman, I'd be thank God Bess is on.
Well, I mean, we kind of thought that perhaps that was what Azhar Ali thought when he tried to hoik him over mid-wicket and was caught.
Down the track comes Assad Shafiq horribly. Yeah, as a mo, gets a thickish sort of Q end under edge. And it goes off to mid-on for no run, and that's the end of the 29th over. 77 for 4. He was on 17. Rizwan will take strike on 10 off 16.
Well, I think that was another example of maybe they don't rate Dominic Bess because he came down the wicket. I mean, he's technically quite a correct batsman normally, Assad Shafiq. Yeah. But that was a horrible mo, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it really did just bring the bottom hand through and try and belt it over the top of mid-wicket. Not very attractive to watch. Let's put it that way.
I still think they should give Leach a go. I don't understand why Leach hasn't had a go. I mean, Bess hasn't been particularly impressive.
No, I think Leach deserves a go, I have to say. I'm with you on that.
Leah says, what is the bear's problem? Supermarkets are open for more than 4 more hours at least, and containers containing beer that are wrapped in wet toilet paper and put in the freezer are drinkable after 10 minutes.
Yeah, put a beer in the freezers, or I haven't got time to go to the fridge. Now, I'll have one, that'll get me through to the end of the day, and I'll go home and get a couple from the shop across the road. It's fine, don't worry about me. As long as there was one here when I got there, I'm good.
Change your bowling, guys, I'll say it third time.
Now, that's what I wanted to see, but I want to see this and one of the other guys on at the other end. I want to get Bess off if I was me. I'd be consigning
If you were you, if you are you, Bear.
Yeah, well, if it was me, I would be taking him off. Has Archer bowled?
Yes, he has, yes.
How long ago?
Well, just before Woakes, actually. Before Woakes started his spell.
So Broady hasn't had a bowl for a while?
Broady bowled a couple of overs straight off the tee, but then went out of the attack, so he hasn't been on for over an hour. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that'll be it for me then. Anderson, I'm back to my opening partnership. The ball seems to be very sticky. You'd imagine the ball would do something here, wouldn't you? A wonder spell from Jimmy.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Woakes is coming off, actually. I mean, he's bowled pretty well. I guess Bess will be kept going, or they'll bring Broad back on at the other end.
I get Bess off, as I keep saying. Anderson in, first ball down leg side, clipped square. Presume there's a man out there. There is indeed. Sorry, Pope. And it'll be a single.
I just fear for England a little bit here. They need to tighten things up a little bit. This slightly irritating little partnership, which has been quite positive from the Pakistanis. Rizwan 11 off 17, Assad 17 off 29. That wasn't a good start from Anderson. It was a poorly directed ball. He did bowl well before tea, I thought, but England really don't want to go down the same path that they did after lunch yesterday, when they bowled really poorly and let Pakistan pick up from a difficult position.
Well, exactly. They can't afford to do that. In comes Anderson again. It's 2 straights, and Assad Shafiq just works around the corner. He'll get a single. Yeah, that was a poor spell after lunch yesterday. I mean, England really, they've got to get them out for 150 tops, really.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Which gives them another 70 runs to get 6 wickets, which is possible with this side, but Shadab will come out and do what he did in the first innings. That's the way he plays. So you've got a chance of getting him early, but you've also got a chance of leaking a quick 30 runs to him, which then puts the pressure back on us, which is his plan. That's how he plays, which is fair enough.
It's all about, this match has been about seizing the initiative or losing the initiative.
Absolutely. Rizwan faces up, and Jimmy is in. It's played square, and there's no run. Yes, and Pakistan have taken it at 2 occasions straight after lunch and with a new ball, and England haven't just quite managed to grab it. In fact, yesterday I made an absolute boo-boo. When I thought the 5th wicket went down, I got up and went and did something in the kitchen, came down, thought I put a bet on under the fall of the 5th wicket, then realised it was still the 4th wicket. So in between me getting up and making a cup of coffee, I hadn't watched the telly, and it must have been overturned. There was a review.
Okay.
Really annoying.
Okay. Yes, there was yesterday.
Yeah, there was. Anderson in, bowls at the stumps, and it's played out to mid-wicket, and there is no run.
I know exactly what you're referring to. It was Mohammed Rizwan, and they would have been 150 for 5, I think, at that point. They just lost a couple of quick wickets. And Mohammed Rizwan got a really good one from Woakes, I think, or it could have been Broad. And he got beaten on the outside edge, but he was plumb in front. The only thing was he'd got I say beaten on the outside edge. He wasn't really, because he'd got a thin edge onto the pad, and that's what saved him.
That's what did me, because I didn't notice that. Jimmy is in, that's a peach. Holds that line just outside off stump. Rizwan plays the line correctly, but it fizzes past his outside edge through to Butler, and there's no run. Is Butler out for the next test?
Changes, doesn't it? I would say yes.
I would
say yes.
I say you have to get rid of him, don't you? I mean, 38.
You've got to say, go and play some county championship cricket with Lancashire. You know, get yourself a really massive score in county cricket, and you might feel better about yourself. His confidence is shot. I mean, he battled really well today, but to get out 2 balls after lunch was again poor.
Bowled through the gate, wasn't he?
Yeah.
From a googly. Was it a googly or straight?
No,
on?
It wasn't. No, he played for spin that wasn't there.
No.
So he played a little bit outside it, leaving a gap, and it sneaked through.
Bummer. That was defended up to mid-on. No run, 79 for 4 after 30 overs.
Tony.
I'm just going to say hello to a few Crit Tracker friends. One called Quinton de Kock. I don't believe it's actually him, but it could be. Abdullah Sarwar, Mohsin Naveed, and Junaid Anwar are all with us. So a warm welcome indeed to you.
Have we got any news about the GPL? How many entries we had today, Bear? Have you seen anything?
Did we have any win? I don't even know. Monitor it yesterday. I presume we didn't have a winner yesterday.
No, we didn't have a winner. It was 46 quid starting this morning. But I don't know whether we have any
7 entries.
Okay.
From 287. Oh, that's yesterday's, surely. That looks like yesterday's. Day 3. Today is day 3, isn't it? Defended, driven out to the cover boundary, but not with enough pace on it. And it's chased down by Sibley. Assad scoots up to the bowler's end and gets himself 3 runs. And moves on to 21. Yeah, 7 entries. Sort of pot, so it'll be 50 quid. 287, 301, 326, 342, 352, 368, 377.
Oh, I don't think that's going to come to fruition then.
Well, what did England come out on this morning? 50 odd, wasn't it?
50. No, this morning they were what? Oh, goodness me. No, it's more than that. What was it? 90. 90.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. So there's only been about 170 runs in a day. That's defended back on the track and there's no run. What did we get? 190? No, 204?
I've forgotten. I'm going to have to look at my scorecard. Anyway, lead is 189.
Yeah. Bess is over the wicket, continuing 2 short and quick back onto his feet as Rizwan punches it out once again through cover. Sibley is once again chasing it, and they'll get 2 runs this time. Rizwan just strolls back to his mark.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrying this for England. I agree. I think perhaps Don Best needs to have a bit of a rest, and you want to get the accuracy of someone like Woakes. I know he's just done a bowler spell from the previous.
But you see, for me, the one thing that's really, and I've said this many a time before, as a spinner, I'd rather be driven at than cut. But he's always bowling it too short and getting cut. He drags it down as he's cut once again. Top edgy this time, but there's no one down in gully region. And it's gone down to 3rd man. Stokes chases it, and they get back for another 3. It's 87. He's just leaking runs here.
Yes, he is. I think this has been the problem. He's been struggling with his length, and he knows he's got to pull it back a little bit to actually take advantage of what is there in the pitch. And he's just pulling it back too much. So he goes long again, and he over bowls it again.
Yeah.
He's just struggling with his length. If he can get that length right, but then you've got to say that you want someone who can find that length.
Yeah,
and if
totally.
Dominic Bess is not the man to find that length, then
well, no, generally,
he has to go, doesn't he?
Generally, I think he just bowls it too flat, and that's why he drags it down a bit.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's got that particular round arm flat ball that he
Yes,
bowls. It's quite
no,
useful.
I don't mind that.
He
That's
bowls-
quite a useful ball. That's a changer. But I mean, his stop ball just seems too flat for me. Not enough over and down. See, that's a better shape. It's defended back down the track and there's no run.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think if you're looking for a man who gets the dip that you talk about from good spinners, you've got to go back to Jack Leach, haven't you?
Well, yeah.
And is it going to make that much a difference with the bat as well? I mean, Dominic Best has played a couple of good innings, but so has Jack Leach.
Jack Leach has nearly got a ton in a Test match.
Yep.
The Night's Watchman, too full, driven back to him, and there's no run. I mean, he must feel it. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, let's face it, English spinners since Swanee, we've struggled.
Do you completely discount Rashid and say you don't need a leg spinner and he doesn't have enough control in red ball cricket and doesn't want to play it anyway, or do you have another look or a word with him?
He was asked.
You have another look at him, don't you?
He was asked that after one of the ODIs, wasn't he? When they put him in that seat in the cocoa room or whatever it is, and he kind of smiled and demurred, didn't say anything. I think he's got better control now than he had a few years ago. I mean, they do say that he has sort of aged like a fine wine. He's got better. His control has definitely got better.
But I think just as a general rule, also the wrist spinners are going to get more out of this pitch than the finger spinners. So he would be a wrist spinner, and okay, there may be a couple of bad balls, but I don't think there'd be anything more in terms of bad balls than we're getting from Dominic Best at the moment. As you say, when you're not able to hit the length that you need to hit, you're not putting them under any pressure, are you? Really? One's too full, one's too short. There are always going to be runs to be taken, whether it's 3 or 4 and over. It may not be that many, but you really want to get on top of them and make them have to think and do something different.
Exactly. I mean, I did notice Shane Warne when Yasir Shah was bowling this morning. Jimmy Anderson is in, bowls, tears on a hit. Rizwan, who clips it square on the leg side, and it's a single. And he was saying that Yasir Shah is always, every ball's kind of different. He's always looking for that wicket-taking ball, and he was like, just put your first 6 balls or your first over on the same spot outside off stump, and just make them prop forward, get yourself in the groove, that kind of thing, which I tend to agree with.
Well, I think actually one of the best balls that he bowled today was the flipper that got Chris Woakes. I mean, it was the perfect flipper. It was the one that made you go back thinking you could pull it, and then it hurries off the pitch and takes out your middle stump. Perfect piece of bowling.
Yeah, he's a skillful bowler, yes. And he's, I don't think. I mean, Southampton's a bit more grippy than this, isn't it? It was certainly drier in the earlier test. That's played in short into mid wicket, and Woakes speeds in. Not be no
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Go get a COVID test.
2 sneezes.
I had to do a COVID test. We put Lexi into we got asked to do a sort of survey for I think it's Imperial College London. I don't know how we got into it. They got in touch and said, I think it's through the school, will you allow your daughter to have a COVID test? We're trying to do a study, blah blah blah. Anderson is in, and Shafiq plays it right under the eyes a little bit hurriedly. His bat wasn't particularly straight, but he got it into the ground and there's no run. And so we had a test, and I had to do a test on her this morning, and they pick it up by courier. Kind of jabbing this thing in the back of her throat, and she was gagging.
Not very nice, is it?
It's not very pleasant, no.
There's supposed to be a better one than that now, though, isn't there? The one where they don't have to stick it so far down your throat or up your nostrils.
There'll be one you'll be able to fart on soon, and it'll tell you everything.
You should be all right then, Ben.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Fine, man.
I'll send you a lorry load of them round.
Exactly, I can lie there, I can test myself continuously. This is 2 leg sidey. Jimmy's had a pretty poor game, I'd say, so far. As that one is worked down to long leg, and he'll have a single. It happens every once in a while.
Something I want to talk about is the captaincy of Azhar Ali. I think he's captained pretty well. And I think they realised when Broad came in, and Broad has adopted this new leg side approach when he bats, staying inside the line of the ball and then throwing the bat at it. And he does it quite successfully. He did it quite successfully again today. But they were quite clever because they thought, rather than leave the quick bowlers to get thrashed around like he did against the West Indies, we'll get both of our spinners on. And it proved a very good move because Broad was no longer able to hit it quite as well.
Nicely cut by Rizwan, but straight to the fielder at point, no run.
I mean, he did pick up Yasir Shah for a 6 over mid wicket, and a 4 that should have been caught by Shadab Khan down on the boundary at the deep backward square. But in terms of being able to just stand back and thrash the ball, as he does like to do against the medium or medium quick bowlers, he was rendered a little bit more strokeless, and I thought that was really clever from Azhar Ali to trust in his 2 leg spinners to tidy up that England innings.
Yeah. Jimmy is in bowls. Oh my word! Well, that's gone through everything, and if it got an inside edge, it was fucking dropped by Butler anyway. Drop him! No run. 89 for 4.
Well, I'm guessing he didn't drop that in terms of it getting an edge. I think Jimmy's just annoyed that it didn't take a bail on its way. It was a cracking delivery, it really was. I think we need to see it again. They're focusing on Jos Buttler. I mean, he did spill it, but was there an edge? If so, well, I don't know. Hard to say. It's a great ball.
I'd like to see Snicko on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Here we go.
Here we go.
No, nothing there. Nothing there. Just as well.
Just as well.
Beat everything.
Cracking delivery though.
Yep. There wasn't much room to find the gap, but he did find the gap between bat and pad, and it was just too high. It went over the top of the stumps. A cracking ball. It's cut him in half, really, hasn't it? But as a bowler, even though you haven't got the edge, it won't fill you with any confidence to see Butler spill that.
No, not at all. You know what I think Zoom has done?
What have they done?
They've limited. I think there's a problem with Zoom. I looked on what's that thing? Dropouts or whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
down detector.
Oh wow! What did he? Yeah, must have done.
Yeah, he
must have got a glove. It's got that very flying, and it's going to go for 4 runs. But he hit it. Took it off middle stump, which is why Best probably has his hand on it. If he'd missed that, he'd have been bowled neck and crop. If he'd have missed it and hit its pads, it'd have been plumb LBW. It's gone right across. Just got a little under edge on that. But it's enough, and it takes it away down to the boundary for 1.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Which they must have put on everyone, because what I'm seeing, you're missing loads of frames when you see it, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And Zoom have this thing, they as Best bowls, it's clipped into the left side and there's no run. So Zoom have a function where you can basically take the video, take frames out of it so that it doesn't take up so much bandwidth. And that's defended back down the track, and there's no run.
So do you think people having a Zoom group chat in important meetings today are missing crucial?
Well, no, they
figures?
might have a tech issue as well. So they might have put, because I haven't got the setting on my Zoom feed.
Yeah, but it could cause chaos around the world. This.
Well, no, because it'll be a local issue. That's what I mean. It'll be regional servers. They'll have servers all around the world. Assad Shafiq's gone down the track, giving it a big humpty into the leg side. He's not got all of it by any means, but I think it's Dom Sibley out. He's a deep, sort of squarish mid-wicket. And it's gone out to Cow. Oh, it's Jimmy Anderson out there.
It's Jimmy, yeah.
God, he's trudging around like a grumpy fucker, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're having a meeting on Zoom and then someone's going to give you crucial figures that you then need to use immediately in the next hour, and you've got it wrong because you've missed the phone.
No. It's only on video content, and it'll only be on shared feature. So they've strangled it because they're having issues with some server.
Okay.
So Zoom itself is fine.
Yeah, exactly. So all the meeting side of it is fine. It's just if you want to share video. Well, they might have figured out what we're doing.
Don't say that. Well, they have now.
Square, defending to the leg side, and there's no run as it goes to short leg off the inside edge. Yeah.
I mean, should that bother them? What we're doing? It shouldn't bother them, should it?
It shouldn't bother them at all.
Not in the least. Jersey Oak, by the way, says, damn this cold Joburg weather. It's not really probably next. He's saying it's next Tuesday for this, and he's showing us a picture of his beer.
Defended into the offside, and there is no run. We'll have to see if it's like this tomorrow.
Let us hope not. Farong says, need a grubby Billy Connolly jingle for copying one in the Crown Jewels. Messi Jez says, I understand leg spinner will inevitably bowl some full tosses, but an off spinner, particularly one who barely flights it, should not be bowling them. Quite right, Messers. We agree with you on that. Armchair Cricket Podcast says, right then, the top order left the job incomplete. Pakistan engine room has Shafiq known for his second innings runs, while Rizwan and Shadab can keep things moving. These three will need to see the lead to 270 plus. Yes, we probably go along with you. Armchair Cricket Podcast have been saying much the same. Chris the Choir says, is Bear doing a grubby and playing a pop song pop song bingo? If they were me and I was you. Oh, okay. If they were me and I was you.
Yeah. Is that the actual name of the song then? Jimmy in bowls, nicely driven by Rizwan, inside mid-off, scooting away to the boundary for one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Warren says afternoon all on Hot Mic. Hello.
Hello. A few people on YouTube as well. Damon Lewis saying, greetings from Dublin, great commentary.
I think that was read out about 3 hours ago. I don't think anyone else...
I was just double checking.
I think
well, it's still great commentary.
Well, it is, but YouTube gets a few early comments and then everything seems to go quiet.
Yeah.
Jimmy angles in off stump, defended with a little bit of a gap there, Rizwan, inside half of the bat, but defends it well enough up to mid-on, and there's no run. There's some young person on the field, and it's not Dan Lawrence, because I saw him yesterday, and he kind of looks familiar. But I have never seen James Bracey in before in my life, so that must be a lie.
He's the Gloucestershire guy, isn't he? He played in one of the warm-up games, I think, and
I don't need to see that from Stokes.
The Butler-Stokes game that they played before the tests against the West Indies, he got 85 in one of those games.
Jimmy in short-ish, but not short enough, and easily pulled away by Rizwan. Not great timing, out to deep mid-wicket. For England, this is all looking a bit easy again.
Yeah, England have let them off the hook a bit, I think. Jimmy doesn't seem to be quite on his game. Broad has only bowled 2 overs since tea. Woakes has been our best bowler, I think, and took two wickets. And I've been giving him a slightly longer spell, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably would have done. I might have another go with Archer. I've got Bess off 3 overs ago, and I'd have either had Archer or Broad at the other end.
You need to fire Archer up, get him angry. I don't know what it is. When he came back yesterday afternoon and bowled quite well.
Anderson in, and he's clipped round the leg side down to long on. There's no run. I've got some theories about Archer.
Okay.
I think he's under a lot of pressure. I think that everyone expects him to be this absolute fucking, find of the century. So much pressure on him from his one-day game, but it is a different game. And he is a good bowler, but he does leak runs. He's, but I was saying yesterday, what he needs to do is just, everyone needs to chill out, give him some fucking space. There's so much comment around Archer. As Jimmy is in, and it's defended down the offside. There's a bit of a mix up there. That's got to be close. That's got to be close. Assad Shafiq could be run out there. There's a yes, no, yes, no. But I think Assad called him through. Rizwan was the one who was stopping and starting. Assad kept going. It's a great pick. I didn't see who picked it up. Who was
Dominic Sibley, I think it was.
Was it Dominic Sibley? He's got a direct hit as Assad is coming down to the other end. This could be the wicket we need. It's a great throw. Sibley's in. He's got to be fucking well short. Hit the wheel. Yes, yes, yes. Gone. Assad Shafiq is run out. And, oh dear. You have to say, really. Oh, shit. This is really fucking bad.
No. There must be a run out here. Oh, how tragic. How tragic, how tragic, how tragic.
And Assad Shafiq isn't happy, but it must have been his call. He went first, I thought. I mean, for looking from the other end, because Rizwan was like, yes, no, but Assad must have called him. And he was short by a good, 3 feet in the end?
Yeah, you've got to say, it's a good piece of fielding, Sibley. Maybe those 2 stone that he's lost have made a big difference, because he's coming at that from an awkward angle. He's got to pick it up on his right hand. He's then got to twist and throw it back towards the stumps, with only really probably 2 stumps to aim at, if that. And he's done extremely well. Assad Shafiq, I think he knew he'd gone. The look on his face, irrespective of having a look from side on with the replay, just his whole body language, throwing his head up, suggested that he hadn't made it, and he'd not made it by some distance, had he?
Yeah, indeed. And actually, that's bloody good. That's a bit of luck for England for a change in this match. Well, not that we Pakistan haven't been lucky; they've been good. But they needed something to happen, and it has happened, which is
it's actually quite useful to have the freeze frame view of that.
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
you
very
could
good.
actually see quite clearly that he was out. There's one time today it's been actually useful.
You can be our umpire, Tony. I know you can't do it in real life. I mean, you struggle to give out people like the Bear and whatever, but...
I did give him out.
No, you did give him out. Yeah, that's
if you recall. He certainly does, like an elephant. Never forgetting.
No. Do you know, I've got a feeling this game could be over tomorrow.
I think
wouldn't be
it could
surprised.
be. It could be.
It's being a 4-day game.
How long have we got left? What kind of time can it go till today?
They're going till 7, so we'll have a change in about 5 minutes' time.
Okay.
Okay. We'll bring Nestlers back on for his final shift of the day.
Who is it? Me, you, and Nestlers then? Me,
Me, you, and Nestlers, absolutely.
I've got no more beer. That's really annoying. Knackle's actually drunk some today because there was like 3 left, and I came in and there was only 1 left.
Who would do a thing like that to you, Bear? Nick your beer.
It's a fucking outrage. I'll tell you what
Never
he
find
never
me
does.
doing
I'll
that
tell you
sort of
what he
thing.
never does, and if you're listening, Knackle, you never do the fucking washing up, do you? Never. Not once. I ain't your fucking mother. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, there you go.
Jimmy is in. And that's played out square on the leg side. And the new batsman is... No, not him. Not him. Him.
What's the matter, you? Show a little respect. The leg is spitting his heart, but he turns it off at the deck. Oh, he's not too bad. He's always got a plan. Shut up, can.
Just wanted to make a point about that run out. The way that Mohammed Rizwan played that, he played it down into the ground and it bounced up a couple of times, so it was easier for Sibley on the run. He didn't have to get right down to it, bounced into his hand quite nicely. Still a really good piece of fielding, but he was just helped a little bit by that. And that didn't aid Assad Shafiq at all, gone for 29.
No, it didn't.
Did England a favour though. I wonder if it's humid and not swing, and they're looking at Ben Stokes. Is he going to have a bowl? Don Best is going to continue. Can you get him off, please? What's this all about, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another thing. England are missing Ben Stokes because you rely on him to come in at those moments when you're struggling to get a wicket, and he normally does.
But I have to say, England have only bowled 34 overs. Don Best has bowled 10.
Yeah.
Which means if you split that difference, that's 24. So they've only been 12 overs from each end. So how many bowlers? You come to the end of the day, either Broad or Stokes can bowl to the end. Either Broad or bloody Archer.
Well, I mean, Stokes' injury must be a lot worse than we think because there's not been even a hint that he would bowl at all through either innings. I'm afraid to say. It's going to come around the wicket now, though. Best. Maybe this is the
he did warm up at lunchtime with some bowling. Yes, extraordinary. Bowling at 2 stumps and was going through a full warming up routine.
Well, obviously wasn't good enough for him.
Well, Best is around the wicket, and that's shit. It's too short, it's down leg side, it turns into the arc. He's lucky to get away with a single. They have packed a leg side feel for it, but I just think this is he's just not good enough to do this, to be honest.
But you know, I don't think people should be shouting about spin bowlers when they're only 22 years old.
There's
a long way to go. I mean, just to deride him as shit, he's not incredibly positive. I mean, he got a fantastic wicket to get rid of Jason Holder, didn't he, when he was going after him at Old Trafford? Beautiful delivery. He's got some talent.
Yeah. You say that, and I agree with that. And I don't say he's shit, but I'm it's an art, yes, and he will get wickets. He will get wickets because inevitably you will end up getting wickets. But generally, I've watched a fair bit of him. And I don't think he's up to it. Sorry, I just don't. He's not an international Test bowler. And yeah, maybe he will get experience and he'll come back. That's defended back down the track and there's no run. But I've seen Leach as well, and I think Leach is a better bowler.
Yeah, I agree. I think Leach should be bowled. I think Leach should have been in the team. I don't know why Leach has suddenly slipped out of the reckoning, really, to be just one of the reserves. I mean, he had a terrible time with illness, didn't he? Over the winter.
I think they're concerned about his
regular.
Well, he tried one ball
issues,
going over the
perhaps.
wicket. Maybe maybe that's just for Rizwan. He's dabbed back down to Stokes at slip, and there's no run. I just think it's kind of muddled thinking. I mean,
well, I think muddle is Ed Smith's middle name.
Well, that's true. And if you want me to rank spinners in effectiveness,
that is awful.
Poor.
That is truly awful.
That's
that was a long
half-tracking bollocksy shit that's been dropped short and slammed where it should be out cow corner. And it's got one of these.
2 + 2 is a man.
I mean, this was, even Adil Rashid has this problem in Test cricket. The problem in Test cricket is that if a batsman knows he can get 4 and over because you bowl a bad ball, he doesn't bother doing anything else with the other 5 balls because he doesn't have to. All he has to do is keep it out. And if the pitch isn't offering enough, and you're on a hiding to nothing, if that's defended out in the offside and there's no run. I mean, it's not. If you put a hierarchy of spinners, for me, it's obviously leggies get the top because they get most action on the ball. As Dom Bess comes in and it's cut, it's a bit too short again. And Shadab cuts it out to point. There's no run.
I mean, it's a fair point to say that he shouldn't actually be trying to get his experience and find a way to bowl in a Test match. If he's good enough to be in a Test match, that's all well and good, but maybe not. He's going to have to go back to county cricket to get some experience, more experience.
Yes, and that's a shame in England. I mean, this is why we struggle with spinners. I mean, generally, if you start in April and then miss out the main spinning season because you've got fucking T20 cricket and come back in September, you're really not going to get that much of a chance, are you?
Well, no, but this should actually be better conditions for spin than, say, the early Test matches that we normally get in May or even early June, shouldn't it? We're now into sort of, the 8th of August, 7th of August. And so, pitches you would think would be offering a little bit more. There's been a bit more sun on them throughout the year.
Yes, but my point is if you're used to bowling in early sort of spring wickets, because that's when your cricket's mostly played, then you probably do bowl a little bit flatter because the pitch is green, it's not really doing anything for you, and you're just basically hoping for a mistake, and then you bowl differently.
Nestle boys joined us, but we'll do one more over with you, Bear.
All right, Anderson is in. Rizwan flips that nicely off his toes.
Let me try and get some tweets in here and there as well if I can.
Yep, Pope takes it out there. 2 runs, go.
Jay Grover's suggesting some nasty things happened to Butler before he sent to St Helena. Clive Brooks says, camping in the sun, listening to GC in a hammock. Couple of ciders. Does life get any better?
Oh, I love hammocks.
It doesn't sound like it does, mate.
A few quick wickets and a Stokes ton to win the game tomorrow. Yeah, that would make your holiday by the sounds of it. You sound like you're having a good time there, Clive. Welcome along. Anna Forsyth, I've signed up for Free Sports, reinstalled multiple VPN because it's only available in the UK. Finally got it working.
Nice.
Okay, so you can see
out to cover, no run. Carry on.
You can see a bit of Vancouver and Victoria instead of what she's from tomorrow. Now she's watching Japanese football. Okay. Don't ask Bear about Rashid. Okay, too late. I've done it. Sorry, Jay. Anna Forsyth. Having a conversation with Brian.
I read it.
Ravi says, do you want me to read the whole conversation?
No.
No, I don't think
Jimmy
so.
in, 2 leg side again. It's clipped down, very fine. Here's a man down there, it's Don Bess. It'll only be 1 run, but they move on to 109 for 5.
Ravi the heavy roller says, my spider sense is tinkling and I sense Bess will scoop a 5 for. Well, we don't think that. I don't think that. Ravi. Jay Grover says, I think Tony read my last tweet out in 1994. Quite possibly true, Neymar. Butlins, can we create a drinking game for Bear where he downs an IPA every time that someone says this is a critical moment for England? Gets and Grat says, great burst of enthusiasm from the Bear for that run out. Pakistan lose a wicket. I lose an eardrum.
We needed it. Jimmy is in, bowls, and nicely played off the back foot. Beats the man diving. Who looks like Dom Sibley at backhook point, and it's chased down by Rory Burns, the Cavalier. Ooh. And Shadab wanted to go back for a 3rd. Rizwan wasn't having any of it. And he got sent back. Cut the pace down. No real danger. 2 balls left in my stint. And then we'll welcome Nestle. Say goodbye to Tony. And me and Hendo and Nestle will take you through. Hendo will describe the last 45 minutes.
SEJS says, I'm with Bear. I don't think Bess has yet got the experience to be a Test match spinner.
No, you may be right. You may be bringing me round to your way of thinking.
Prodded out by Shab, well outside his eye line and away from his pad, but didn't get anything on it. No run.
I just didn't kind of agree that the Bears' rather graphic description, negative description of Dominic Bess was completely
I just get
frustrated. I know what you're arguing about. I just feel like when you say someone is shit and they're I think that's a bit harsh, just a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It is harsh, and I'm just bitterly upset because I just don't think he has the tools for the job. I mean, you know,
you have to wonder whether Joe Root has the tools as a captain, don't you?
Well, quite possibly. I mean, especially what's going on here out on the pitch at the moment. It's played into leg side and there's no run. I mean, personally, I'd have taken Bess off 5 overs ago. And it just doesn't.
Well,
look like
you did say it. You did say it. You know, and he hasn't really done anything to disabuse me of that idea. He's bowled actually probably worse since you started slagging him.
Well, maybe he's here.
Anyway, that's the end of the over.
Sorry,
so
it's not the end of the over. It's a no ball.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's not wide. It's one of these.
Over the line!
It's a bit of everything.
You were over the line, that's a foul.
Yeah, it's called from off the field, isn't it? Free bloody hit, man. Free hit.
No. That is an absolutely crazy idea.
Don't want that in Test cricket. No,
Goodness me.
no.
Whatever next, you'll be asking for things like a game that's played over 100 balls.
No.
Promotes unhealthy snacks to make children fat.
Jimmy is in. Dabbed that. Oh, Jesus Christ. He dived over that Sibley again. No Burns this time. And it's gone down the third man boundary and it cannot be hauled in by Stokesy. And it will be one of these.
There's not one boy for me. I must have 2 or 3. I need 4.
That, I believe, is the end of the over.
It is. I shall take my leave and hope for a better service tomorrow. I'll work out a way somehow.
Okay. I will send you rotors later on.
Marvellous.
Yes, can't wait. Anyway, yes, that's annoying, isn't it? I don't like runs that go to third man. I get really annoyed about those. I'm surprised that pace bowlers don't get more annoyed about leaking runs down to third man. If those sort of shots were being struck on a regular basis through the covers, they'd probably plug the gap. But
of course,
third man is a much underrated position, and it's annoying to see batsmen who've played full shots get runs. I think as a captain,
yeah,
and
as a bowler, it's particularly poor.
And so I think you should have some protection down there, because if you bowled well, the last thing you want is for a ball to go to 4. That really sort of does sap your morale a bit, I would think.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, 5 wickets are down. This is poised in a very interesting position, this game. As I say, it might depend on how quickly England can get rid of the rest of this Pakistan team as to how long this game goes on. Maybe till lunch on the 5th day, on Sunday. But, we shall see. Are you fiddling around with Zoom there, Bear?
Yeah, something's happened here.
Something has happened. You may be getting a strange picture on your YouTube, your Facebook, your hot mic, because something strange is happening with Zoom. Anyway, don't worry about that, because you can still hear us. That's the main thing. And so we will not be leaving you bereft of being spoken to, put it that way.
Can you still see the cricket, boys?
I can still see the cricket. I don't think you two can, if you're really watching it on on Zoom.
I can't, but it doesn't matter because I haven't been able to really watch it properly all day.
Okay. Well, Pakistan are 116 for 5. We have, 33 minutes left today. Pakistan might get that up to 130, 135 before the close. Can England pick up a couple of more wickets before then as well? Because I think tomorrow is going to be the big day. It's going to be the decision day in regards to this match. It's moving on apace. As,
yeah. It's going to be the crucial day then. Crucial first hour?
It's going to be a crucial first hour. It may not be a crucial first hour. It may just be one of those days where it's obvious that the result is going to come that day. I think on this wicket, based on what they did in the first innings, Pakistan will bowl a lot better than England have. I'm afraid to say. I mean, apart from Broad, really, and Woakes, both bowled quite well. Woakes taking wickets. I haven't really been impressed with England's bowling in this second innings. They were poor, really poor after lunch yesterday. And that may be where they lost the match. And they look back on that and think that's what happened. I don't think you can blame anyone for the fact that they slipped 12 for 3 last night, because it was just brilliant bowling. Anyway, there must be a drink being had at the moment because we're having a look at Roston Chase bowling to Dominic Sibley for some strange reason.
Would you like a tweet?
I think it's well, I will do. I just wanted to say I think perhaps Nasser is talking about the difference between Roston Chase as an off-spin bowler and Dominic Bess as an off-spin bowler.
Yeah.
Yes, Nasser.
Jeff Perkins says, incredibly prescient of Tony Bishop to have been reading out tweets back in '94. You think his football picks would have been better? Adrian Lowe says, are England aware we have to save runs? Thanks, Chimps, for another great day's commentary. Brian Barish says, you might be getting a strange picture on YouTube, quoting you, from the GC Department of Redundancies Department.
Were you getting a strange picture on YouTube? I don't know. I was getting a strange picture on Zoom. Anyway, for the first time in this match, we are going to see, when things get desperate, this is the man that England turn to. And it's going to be Ben Stokes to bowl.
Ben Stokes.
Do you think he's just gone up to Rooty and said, oi, Rooty, if I can just give you the goddamn ball, will you?
Yeah, it's not going too well for anyone. Yes, he said, get that boy off. That boy, Bess. You need a man to do a man's job. And this is going to be Ben Stokes. Let's hope he doesn't limp off with a strained side within about 3 deliveries. 2 slips to gully, backward point, extra, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, fairly square, and a long leg. In comes the ginger-headed one to bowl to Rizwan. Rizwan goes back, tries to whack that with very quick hands. It would have been a good shot had he connected, but he didn't connect. He missed it completely, and it went through on the bounce to Jos Buttler.
Could have quite easily got a little edge on that as well. It's a pretty poor shot, really. Bad with a sort of diagonal bat.
Yes,
with a ball
it was too close really to play the square drive off the back foot, which is what he was trying to do. Anyway, here's Stokes again, running in, bowls to Rizwan, and he pulls that away around the corner down to long leg, and they pick up single. He moves to 27, a very annoying 27 as far as England are concerned from 37 deliveries, and already I have to say Stokes looks knackered, so I hope he's not going to do himself any more damage.
He hasn't been doing my hit exercises.
No, that's what it is. He really needs you to get him going in the morning, Bear.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shadab Khan down to face.
Has to be said that we get a little breakthrough here, though. There's not a lot left.
In comes Stokes, bowls, back of a length, goes for the pull shot and completely misses it. Goes through to the wicketkeeper, and that's what we've been missing. We've been missing Ben Stokes staring at the opposition batsman after he's played a full shot and uttering some words of advice.
Some pleasantries.
Some pleasantries, indeed.
Now, the one thing we have to look forward to, if England are going to get out of this, is they've got to keep out the new ball, haven't they? They got fucking done yesterday.
Well, indeed, but I mean, I don't think anyone can blame the batsman who got out yesterday. It was just brilliant bowling. Stokes in, full of ball. He's got a little edge through there. It looked like he was trying to open the face and run it down towards third man, but he actually made no contact and it went through to Buttler. And there is no runs. It got a bit quiet on the Twitter sphere, Nestlers.
Well, I'm just replying to one from Spit the Dog, who said, let's sing a song, a bucket of water song. Been a while, tis was. And I'm just telling him that we had Chris Tarrant's son on.
Oh, good, yes. And we will see more of Chris Tarrant's son when we finally get around to editing the footage of Jono bowling to him. Stokes in, short, pulled round the corner. He almost falls over as he sets off for the run, Shadab Khan. But he will get one. Woakes is down at long leg. Pakistan moved to 118 for 5. 28 minutes left this evening. England would love to wheedle out a couple more. And equally as strongly, Pakistan would hope that these two survive to take on England again tomorrow morning. So how many wickets have we seen today? We've seen 11 wickets, haven't we? England started on 4 down. Here is Stokes again in. Bowls wide of the off stump, left alone by Rizwan, and there is no run. 118 for 5. The lead is 225.
What point do you think the lead is
11? Sorry, Nestlers.
I was going to say, just what point do you think the lead is going to be too high?
think anything that gets beyond 250 is going to make it really difficult for England. I mean, you're talking about an England that weren't able to score 250 in the first innings,
Exactly.
and I don't get the impression that the pitch is getting any easier.
And we're not far off that now.
No, we're not. We're not. I think England need to, shoot these last 5 out as quickly as possible.
But what it did show is that they could apply themselves, even if they couldn't get big scores, if you could get through that new ball. Being, what were we, 10 for 3 or 15 for 3 or something, you know?
We were 12 for 3.
12 for 3, you see, that's the thing, in 5 overs or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get past that, you fancy your openers will stay there for a little bit, you can get to, I don't know, 70 for 1 or 2, then you're in the game. But you've got to play off the new ball. You can't be 12 for 3, you're screwed. You're always playing catch-up.
And I think also the bowling that Pakistan have got is the kind of bowling that can undo these unorthodox techniques that we see from the likes of Rory Burns and Dominic Sibley. Anyway, Stuart Broad is going to come back into these acts. 6 overs, 1 for 13 earlier today. He's been one of the better England bowlers this afternoon. He's going to be bowling to Shadab Khan.
Sweep the leg, Broady. Got the best headband around. Something has got to keep her down. Got the best headband around. Your ego ain't gonna be kept down. Got the best headband around. Even though your hair is thinning now.
And his first delivery is right on the money, probing around middle and leg middle, and then just nipping towards middle and off. Well defended by Shadab. Back down the pitch, and there is no run.
Jay Grover says Mark Wood always takes the piss out of Stokes for speaking posh when he does interviews. What accent do you think he's sledging?
Bit of Kiwi, Kawaii, bit of Kawaii. I would hope. Here comes Broad. He's got effort etched on his face, and this ball is turned around the corner by Shadab, who takes off, running the first one very quickly indeed, but equally quickly the man at long leg, who I'm guessing is Dominic Bess. He's been sent down there now. Prevents them getting more than one.
I did see something this morning that made me chuckle. Do the ECB make England lose first test to keep the series alive right to the end? It's kind of like that, isn't it?
I'm not sure that if England lose this test, I can see them coming back to win this 2-1.
No, I certainly can't. I mean, I was about to say, it's a different proposition, this Pakistan side to the West Indies, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. Broad in full. He tries to drive that without any real foot movement, rather shovels it into the onside as Rizwan. And it's picked up by Woakes in there at mid-wicket.
Although you do wonder, I mean, the bonus for England is the kind of interchangeable bowling situation. Will Pakistan want to, do they think their backup reserves, can they afford to rotate their bowlers? I mean, I doubt they'll rotate Shadab, and you see they're spinners you don't bother with, but your pace bowlers.
Turned into the onside once more. Woakes is round to his right to field. You're talking about what Pakistan have got to come in if they need to rest somebody.
Well, exactly. If you've got a red Mahmood Abbas, or if you've got a red rest Shaheen Afridi or Naseem
shouldn't need to rest a 17-year-old, although you don't want to overbowl these guys.
No.
They're usually pretty keen at that age.
They got
Wahab Riaz is in the squad.
He is indeed.
Might see a bit of him before the end of the series, which will be fun.
He lost a bit of pace. He must be about 40 now, mustn't he?
He does seem it, doesn't he? Broad bowls. Rizwan comes watchfully forward, head over the ball, and defends it. Holds the pose. The ball runs up towards mid-on, and there is no run. Broad just looking for the leg cutter there. That ball where he runs the fingers down the left-hand side of the ball. Anyway, I've just seen a tweet. I'll leave it to you, Nestle, from Screw You Like Me, to which I think I would heartily agree with. Anyway, I'll leave that to you to read out shortly. Broad bowls, pushed into the offside by Rizwan, was looking for the quick single. He'd try to drop it short of the man coming in from backward point. Tweets?
Yeah, it's Screw You Like Me, to who's El Choppernose.
I didn't realise it was the same person.
Oh yes, greetings you loveliest folks. I come in as the night watchman from rainy Bombay.
But there is a tweet further up from him that I is the one that I more agree with. the most recent one from him.
Oh,
I just have to see,
let me refresh.
well, I might as well read it out. I'm here now. I think the PAK attack is so exciting right now. They should bowl for both teams. I agree. I was actually quite disappointed when Pakistan won the toss and batted first because I just wanted to see these bowlers. Anyway, Pakistan are 119 for 5. Chris Woakes has excellent figures of 2 for 11, but it's Ben Stokes bowling at the moment. He's in, and it's played off his hip by Shadab. He's so busy. He's like, I don't know, a little bit like Ollie Pope in his attitude at the crease, so always wanting to get at the bowler, always running the first one incredibly hard, seeing what is there, what he can squeeze out of every stroke. Shadab has gone on to 13, Pakistan 120.
I bet Stokes didn't like that.
No, he won't like that at all. I mean, they could collide in the middle, couldn't they, with their positive attitudes. Here he is again. He's looking a little bit pained, Stokes, so I hope he isn't doing himself any more damage. He's in, he hits him on the pad, he goes up for the appeal. I think it's going over. No! Been given by umpire Richard Kettleborough. Rizwan will look down the other end and hope for support for Shadab. Shadab gives him that support. It was a good ball, it was straight. I don't think it was offline at all, but I think it could have been going over. That is the problem.
I'm going to play a jingle because it's one of these.
I was definitely in. Were you definitely in?
I don't know. You see, Stokes is a little skidded than the other guys when he gets it full. Rizwan isn't very tall.
He hasn't gone forward. It's hit him on the back pad, but it's hit him really high on the back pad.
Yeah, but
I think that's going over. I think that's
clipping the top and middle. I think it's skidded on a little bit. Yeah.
It's umpire's call. You're right there. And Mohammed Rizwan has gone. He has perished at the hands of the man you bring on, the man who, despite all those journalists say, players don't make things happen. We've heard it too often. It's a cliche. It's not a cliche. He's just made something happen. Bye-bye, Mohammed.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here. Your history, no good for me. Your history, nah.
I think he's a bit lucky. I think that hit the front pad probably would have given it not out, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think
going
so. Yeah.
over. It's the fact that it's hit him on the back pad. He's not a tall man. He's quite deep in the crease. He's thought, wow, on the benefit of that. And I think as Fred said yesterday, if you think it's going to hit the stumps,
give it out.
Give it out. It
doesn't
matter if it doesn't matter if you think it's only going to be half the ball. The point is, if you think it's going to take the bail, it's going to take the bail, isn't it? So
it's a very good point, actually. I mean, when you talk about this thing about half the ball and everything, I mean, half the ball still takes the bails off or clips the stumps. So I'm not quite sure about that as a rule. But anyway, that's the rule that we've got at the moment.
Well, that's good for England.
Go on.
Well, I'm going to say that's good for England. We need to get him out for 150. Shadab is dangerous. Rizwan's quite dangerous. Yasir Shah, get through him, and you've got a couple of bunnies, really.
Yeah. I think that's certainly true of Nassim from what we saw of him yesterday. It didn't really look as if he's got his batting up to anywhere near the level of his bowling, and probably won't throughout his career because he's a fantastic bowler from what we've seen. Yasir Shah is averaging 13.43. He's never got a 50, but he has got 100. He made 113 against Australia, of all people. Ben Stokes then into Yasir Shah. Yasir Shah leads in flamboyant fashion outside the off stump. And through the keeper it goes. 12 wickets in the day. This will be over tomorrow, I predict. This game is not going to a 5th day.
I think you're right. I'm going to play his jingle.
Oh, Yasir, I bowl googlies, but I got my medicine wrong. I bowl posies, leggies, googlies, all day long.
Well, at the moment he's trying to keep out fast medium from Ben Stokes. He thrusts the front leg forward, plays at that one, gets beaten by it outside the off stump. So another good decision by Richard Kettleborough. The umpires have been pretty good in this match, I would say. Pretty much on the ball. And we have just 4 more wickets to go. Pakistan 120 for 6. The lead is 227. I guess the thing will be that if we do get them out, or England get them out with a lead of less than 250, that people start thinking England can win. And they can't. Stokes in, bowls. Yasir Shah defends a good length ball. into the covers, and there is no run.
I just realised I played Grubby's jingle, didn't I?
You did, but it's all right. I like Grubby's jingle.
Well,
it's
I
not
do.
as good
I
as
just
the
wish
other
the
Gaseous
bloody
one.
music was a bit higher in the mix. You can't hear it. You can hear what song it's supposed to be, but
It's a lot better than I thought it was. I mean, I remember when it was made, and you were very damning of its quality there. I mean, a man who did the
Dean Pete,
the Dane Pete jingle,
that's got auto-tune, man.
Criticising anyone else's jingles is outrageous. Bouncer from Stokes. Yasir leans back at the hips and lets that go through. And it's the end of a successful over. If only we'd thought of Ben Stokes this time yesterday, or not this time yesterday, but after lunch yesterday. 120 for 6 is the score. More tweets.
Dean Pete.
Exactly. Auto-tune, man. That's a genius bit of...
Jay Grover says, a rare yet vaguely pertinent point I made, which Trigger ignored. Who's Trigger? Was that the skill of the Pakistan bowlers is such that any bolstering the batting with Bess is rendered irrelevant.
Well, yes. I don't know how England has suddenly gone from having an incredibly strong tail to having one that's not really very good. And actually, in that tail, Stuart Broad seems to be the best of them. But there you go. It's going to be Broad. 7 overs, 1 for 14 in the evening sunshine as the shadows lengthen. My favourite time of day. In comes Broad, bowls him a attempted bouncer which doesn't get up, and he helps it on its way down to Dominic Bess, who slides into action but can't prevent Shadab racing back for the second. Good throw. 122 for 6. Shadab goes on to 15.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was Shadab had gone out. It was Rizwan. Yeah, well, that's because we had Mo and Woakes because you had Broad and Anderson as your two openers, you had Stokes as your fourth seamer, you had Woakes as your third seamer, and you had Moeen Ali, who is a quality batsman, as your spinner.
Broad, and again, but another bouncer. This time it gets up a little bit more, but he just comes inside the line of that to Shadab and allows it to pass down the leg side to Butler, and there is no run.
Which gives you genuine batting down to 9 and Broad at 10.
Yeah, I mean, at times we've even had Broad at 11 when we've been missing Jimmy, which we missed, which we did from the Ashes last summer, didn't we, after the first test?
And with Sammy Curran in the side.
And pretty much during the winter as well. Here comes Broad again, showing a clean pair of heels to the cameraman, and this one scoots through outside the stump. Good take, one-handed by Butler, tumbling away to his right.
You wonder if Sammy Curran in today's conditions would have been quite useful.
As a bowler, yeah, and also as a batsman, I think as well. He's a solid batsman. He plays some really good shots at times as well. He's a man who can snatch the initiative back. He's very positive in the same way as Shadab Khan is. So, he's unfortunate not to get into this team, but you can't fit everyone in, can you? Onto the back foot goes Shadab. Even when he's playing defensively, he's almost mentally setting off for a run by the time he's completed the shot, isn't he? And then he looks up and sees it going back to the bowler and thinks, I probably shouldn't run on that. But it does make you a little bit more watchful in the field and maybe more concentrated when you see a batsman playing like this, always looking for that run. Great figures for Woakes today, 2 for 11 from 5. Stokes now has 1 for 3. Broad also has a wicket. Dominic Bess has 1. Broad is in, bowls. Ball comes back in to Shadab, but he plays it neatly enough. Gets a stare from the head-banded one, but doesn't seem overly concerned by that. He goes for a little bit of a wander.
Missy Jez says, while I can understand England needed to rest bowlers over 6 tests, it's crazy to think any Pakistan bowlers need resting for a 3-match series.
Well, you say that, but since when have we had a 3-match series that has been so squeezed into a shorter period?
Yeah.
I mean, we have back-to-back tests, but we've never had 3 back-to-back tests. There's normally a gap between the 2 lumps, as it were, of back-to-back tests.
Oh, that's out.
He's on the pad. That's got to be gone. Surely that is. No, says umpire Richard Illingworth.
I'm reviewing that, man.
Imploring him. Well, if he didn't get an edge to that, if he didn't get an inside edge, that is absolutely plumb. Surely it was full. It was playing round it. It was straight. I'm not quite sure what was wrong with that as far as Richard Illingworth is concerned. Maybe we will find out.
Maybe he did think he got an inside edge. Let's give him one of these.
Shadab looks sheepish.
Time of great decision.
I think he thinks that when he hit his pad there at the bottom, he hit the ball, but he was nowhere near it, I don't think.
Well, yeah, but it's up above the knee roll, isn't it? It's rising, and it's been given not out. So if it's only clipping, the decision stays with Pakistan, doesn't it? So I don't think there's any inside edge from what we can see. So it really depends on how high this one ended up being. It's not very high. It's hitting. He's out. He's gone. Richard Illingworth has made a mistake. He's going to have to overturn his decision. Broad has his second wicket, and Pakistan in their second innings are 122 for 7.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
On your bike, mate.
That just looked out, didn't it?
It looked out, and the look on Shadab's face said, "Ooh, I'm not really very confident about that." But I've been given not out. I'm going to stay here. Well, why not? It's an LBW decision. You don't walk on LBWs. But he's been forced to walk. Ultimately, the walk back to the pavilion. He's gone for 15 LBW to Broad, and that is a very important breakthrough again for England. This game is going to be over tomorrow. I can tell you that now.
Well,
122 for 7.
England, what, 230 behind now?
Yep, 229, 230, something like that. And I think they're going to have to bat extremely well, or the Pakistanis are going to have to bowl extremely poorly for England to get a result out of this, because the pitch is doing enough, and we've seen that their bowlers can get life out of a dull pitch, a docile pitch.
Well, my sister's just sent me a story about a German nudist who's chased a wild boar that stole his laptop.
Yes, I saw that earlier. Actually, I didn't actually read the story, but
a nudist bather who chased a wild boar near a Berlin lake after it stole his laptop was applauded by onlookers after a successful pursuit.
So he got his laptop back. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure I want to have seen that, although I suppose
I wouldn't chase a boar.
No, me neither.
Especially if I was naked.
This is chopped away as Ben Stokes starts a new over. That's actually quite a good shot from Yasir Shah, and it may go all the way to the boundary. No, it's just been hauled up by the two men chasing it, or one of them. He flicks it back to his teammate, and they get through for 2. Shaheen Afridi is the man who's come in at the non-striker's end, because that was the final ball of Broad's over that got the wicket. Are we seeing more and more batsmen getting out to balls that are angled into their legs a little bit, and they're trying to play on the leg side and they fall over a little bit?
They're basically getting out to straight balls, yeah? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, and I'm wondering, is it purely, though, because we now have ball tracking? Do you think that in the past, those sort of appeals, the slight angle would have encouraged the umpire to say, oh, that's probably going down the leg side? I think we're getting more of these because of DRS.
Quite possibly, and it's good. Because bowlers deserve the fucking wickets.
They don't deserve anything. This is flicked away by Yasir, who runs in his idiosyncratic manner, but it's gone very fine indeed, and it's gone for 4 valuable runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
I never understand this notion that it's a batsman's game, because the very précis of the game is that it's one man against 11. And that's not really very good odds, is it? So this nonsense about it being a batsman's game is just that nonsense. Anyway, here comes Stokes in again. Bowls him a bouncer, which he fends away through the vacant square leg area. The man comes in off the fenced field, and Pakistan move on to 129 for 7, and the lead has moved on to 236. What we don't want now, as an England follower, is Yasir Shah to play like he did in Australia last year when scoring 113. That would put it out of England's reach without doubt.
It would indeed.
We can say.
Well, screw you like me as saying Yasir Shah 87 from 120 balls incoming.
Possibly. Well, we shall see.
Joe Grover's saying it's twisting his melon this game.
Is that
the reference to that the Happy Mondays reference there, I think.
I thought it was honeydew. Round the wicket to the left-hander, Shaheen Afridi leaves this ball that fades on its way through to Butler, who has to go to his knees to take it. And there is no run. 130 for 7.
Do you have a fan on, Hendo?
I what?
Have you got a fan on?
I have got a fan on. I'm not sitting here in 48-degree heat all day with no fan.
That's what goes over your mic occasionally. It sounds like you're in a wind tunnel occasionally.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. It doesn't cause me any problems. Stokes in again to a freed. He's beaten on the back foot outside the off stump. Through the batter, no run.
Bryce the Choir says this England team's starting to remind me of Essex, capable of getting themselves into a desperate position and then getting out of it just.
Well, they're giving themselves a chance here. They're
giving themselves a chance. I mean, I had. Yeah, Bear. I mean, I had a feeling that we might then watch Shan Masood grind out another 70 or 80 while Abid Ali got a few, and it would be 250 for 3 or something. He's in, bowls to Shaheen Afridi. It's a full ball. It's on the line of middle stump, and he defends it up to mid-on.
Well, that's what I was genuinely fearing as well. I mean, usually when you've got a 100-run lead, you expect to sort of, you've already got 100 in the bag. You try and get up to. You need 200 runs really to put the game out of reach.
Yeah, well, they certainly haven't put the game out of reach. I mean, they would still be favourites in my mind if the lead is 237. On this pitch, I would definitely have them as favourites. Be interesting to know what the odds are at the moment. He's in again to Shaheen Afridi, plays another pleasant defensive shot.
I shall tell you, Hendo, because I was thinking that as well. I was almost tempted to bet on England earlier, but now they're to come in. England at evens, Pakistan are 5-4 on. So,
but there isn't a lot of difference.
There isn't a lot of difference. Pakistan 100 to 1. The draw is 100 to 1.
Oh yeah, the draw. Yeah, we remember that draws. We used to have a few of those in the olden days. But, fewer and fewer as Test cricket develops and evolves. Pakistan 137. Assad Shafiq, highest scorer in this innings. He made 29. Mohammed Rizwan 27. Good little partnership from them. But there's been a period. Well, there was a brief period where they were on top a little bit, I suppose, in their partnership. But apart from the fact that England overbowled Dom Best, probably. I think the bowling has been on top. 2 slips, no gully, backward point, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, shortish mid-wicket, long leg, in comes Broad. Bowls to Yasir Shah, who I thought he head-butted that down to long leg, but he may have got a bit of bat on it. He's got it very fine again, and he's picked up 4 more runs. This is going to be Yasir on the charge.
There's not one more for me. I must have 2 or 3. I need 4.
Tweets, Nestlers.
Big fire on Common in Surrey at the moment. I was just looking at that. Neymar Butlin says this bloke should form a rockabilly group and move to the Middle East. They will be called Shadab Yadabi. Do I owe you £1 for that one?
Yes, you absolutely do. You
Tips on Hot Mic, please, or donations, whichever.
PayPal will do. In comes Broad again, full on leg stump. He's going to get another 4 runs. Is he? No, they've moved that man at long leg much finer. So it's just a single this time. Yasir moves on to 12. Pakistan to 135 for 7. And this is where England must not believe that the work is done, because Yasir can be a tricky customer. He can get runs quickly. He can get them in unorthodox ways, in the same way as Stuart Broad often does. And they don't really want to give up another 40 runs here. The lead is 242. We think it'll be a struggle to get past 250 for England on second go with the Willow. And I think it will. So they don't really want Yasir to get away with a few cheap runs here. Shaheen Afridi to face. Broad, he can come round the wicket to the left-hander. Yes, he is. He's in, he bowls, and he, well, possibly keeps the bat inside the line of that one. It's not that far from his off stump, but it goes through harmlessly to Butler. Have you got any more tweets for us?
Yeah, I have. Jay Grover says, I don't consider myself to be especially nesh, but if a fucking wild boar nicked my laptop, I'd give it my Wi-Fi password and good luck to the lad.
It sounds like a name for an autobiography, doesn't it? A wild boar stole my laptop. Anyway, here's Broad again.
While naked.
Onto the front foot is Shaheen Afridi. Plays a good length ball up towards mid-off, and there is no run.
Aman says, how can someone give not out on Stuart Broad's celebra appeal? What's wrong with Richard Illingworth?
Well, it is hard, isn't it? It is hard not to give it out. But
when it's out?
When it is out, yeah, true.
Adrian O says, none of us have any clue how this game will turn out. What a game Test cricket is.
Oh, it is. But I do actually, part of me thinks, if England are going to win this, they have to bowl out Pakistan cheaply. But I also want to see more cricket, not just quality cricket, but more cricket. And I don't want to lose a day of cricket. There's just not enough cricket in the world to lose a day of it. That's outside the off stump, left alone by Shaheen, and there is no run.
That reminds me of Ben Hogan. His quote about someone said to him how much golf should we play, and he said, "You shouldn't play too much golf. 2 rounds a day is quite enough."
I think Katie Scott is another. She's another of with that feeling that the cricket should use all the days allotted to it. Anyway, Broad is in round the wicket, bowls to Shaheen Afridi. He's going to get his first run here as he tickles this away behind square. He's going to get more than one. He'll come back for a second probably. He will do. Throw comes in, and they're comfortably there. Dominic Simply has been doing a lot of good work in the field today. Was the man chasing it. 137 for 7. That's the end of Broad's 9th over. He has figures of 2 for 23. Nestlers.
Knuckle Pandy has tweeted in. I haven't heard from him for a few years. It says, "Woof. Also, I love Hot Mic. I can even listen on the tube."
On the tube? Now, hang on. We kind of need to be pushing that, don't we?
Maybe
Absolutely. If you're going to listen to cricket on the tube, it's almost worth going back to work for.
No. Never seen a clothed ball with a laptop, to be honest, says Screw You Light Meter.
Yeah, it's true. True. The score is 137 for 7. Dominic Best 1 for 40. Stuart Broad 2 for 23. Chris Woakes 2 for 11. And Ben Stokes 1 for 11. Those are the wicket takers. And
this will be the last
Dominic
over
Best
the day.
is back. Why? Why is Dominic Best back? I'm here with the bear now. I've changed my view completely.
It's the last over the day.
But hang on. It's not the last over the day. Oh, it is the last over the day. Goodness me, that went quickly. Another day of cricket passes me by. It's another day we'll never get back. But it's been a memorable day.
Is it? What happened?
I don't know. 13 wickets fell, but not very many runs. And Pakistan lead by 244. He's going to come around the wicket to the right-handed Yasir, and they are packing the leg side field. It's looking to me as if it's going to be a 6-3 field. There's a slip, an extra cover, and a mid-off, and everyone else is packed into the leg side.
Well, so in theory of this is he's going to bowl flat and at the stumps, which I just think is wrong. I mean, surely you just want an ordinary kind of field with someone out deep on the leg side and toss it up outside on his off stump.
That's on the leg stump. He turns it immediately to one of those leg side fielders who is on the 45. That is Jofra Archer. There is no run.
It's just negative. It's only the last over of the day. Why not try and get him to slog one in the air on the last over of the day?
Well, you've had Ben Stokes. He's bowling quite well. Why take him off? I don't understand it. He must like Dominic Best. He plays at this outside the off stump as he throws it across him and dabs it along the ground to Ben Stokes. Ben 2 caps Stokes at slip.
Who's on tomorrow? Is Annie in tomorrow?
Annie is in tomorrow.
She's going to be cussing at me for.
And Ninja is with us tomorrow. Now he tries to turn that on the leg side. It popped a little bit, jumped on him, and probably took him somewhere in the belly region, and just dropped out into the offside. No,
it came off the leading edge.
Yeah. Anyway, here he comes again, Bess. Bowling. He's down the wicket, and I thought he was going to unleash a huge mow into the onside, but having got there, well, he didn't quite get there, and that's why he stopped the shot. Well played by Yasir. He grins, he's enjoying it, enjoying the challenge.
That's why I love Yasir. He's always got a grin on his face. He's great, man.
Yeah, as has Rizwan, it would appear. Thrown up, driven, up to a deep set mid-on, but it travels too quickly to him for them to really entertain the notion of a single, and so they don't move. 1 ball left in the day. What a day it's been of Test cricket, another brilliant day. And I imagine there's going to be a brilliant one to come tomorrow, fascinating one. You won't want to miss a ball of it. In comes Best on leg stump, tickled away to Archer. And that is it for day 3 of the first test between England and Pakistan at Old Trafford. Pakistan end the day on 137 for 7. An overall lead of 244. Yasir Shah is on 12. Shaheen Shah Afridi is on 2. Best finishes at 12th over with figures of 1 for 40. England have fought back really well after losing wickets, a lot of them, in the first hour after lunch. England have got to do something about what happens to them straight after lunch, because they bowled terribly yesterday. They lost 5 wickets today after a really fighting it out this morning, only losing Ollie Pope. Hang on, we've got another over. What's going on? My clock says 3 minutes past 7. What's happening? Please, someone tell me. What is going on?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It is 3 minutes past 7.
So we're going on to 7:30 now, or what? Or are we going to finish at some ridiculous time like 17:07 and 33 seconds?
Well,
it's Ben Stokes round the wickets to Sheen Afridi. He bowls a short one. He gets in behind it. He's a big man. That really only got up to his sternum. Defended it well. And now into the offside. There is no run.
Well, it says minimum overs remaining 10 on here.
So we must be going through to 7:30. What can I hear in the background, Bear? Have you got something up?
No, I think that's Nestle Boy.
Nestle Boy, turn it
I
down.
was trying to find out what they were saying about. They showed the clock.
They did.
And I was trying to listen in to see what they were saying.
Okay, Sheen Afridi onto the back foot, defends into the offside. Maybe this will be the last over. I hope this is the last over because I've got things to do.
I've got to see.
I've got takeaway to have.
Meals to put in the microwave for mothers. It's very important that I get away very soon. I might have to leave you, surely. You might have to, if you're going on to 7:30, I might have to shoot off. Not shoot up, like we said earlier, that the Bear was doing. On the way up to
Excuse me, who's fucking maligning me?
He comes in. Oh! Tremendous ball, which he flaps at. Somehow, it ends up going to gully. He was aiming that into the onside, but that is a wicket, would you believe? Ben Stokes has got a second. Why on earth have we not bowled this man throughout this match if he's been fit enough? Pakistan are 137 for 8, and on the basis that no one seems to be going off, this game is going on till 7:30, I would say.
Maybe it's called, I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's one of these.
He fell over as he tried to play that. It was
by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Well, England won't want to come out bat for 10 minutes tonight if they wrap this up in 5 minutes, will they?
Oh, God, no, they really don't need to do that. Dismissed at 7:04 p.m. I'm going to see what happens at the end of this over, but I imagine there's going to be another over, but I'm going to have to sign off possibly at the end of this over and hand over to you two to finish the day, however long it may go on to. Who knows? Maybe it goes on till 8, maybe till 9, maybe they play in the dark, and maybe they put the lights on. But Ben Stokes, what a man. He's a man. I don't care if it's a cliche. It's absolutely right. He makes things happen. And Rory Burns took the simplest of catches, running in from gully. Brilliant stuff.
I'm really confused.
We're all confused. Let me see if I can find anything on the commentary from Crick Info.
So, Crick Info say a 1908 finish.
Really?
Oh, do they?
Are they going off now? I think they're going off now.
There's a wicket, so that must have been the last over, they figure, and then therefore they go on? No? They're going to finish the over. 1908, so they got 3 balls left in this over. So they figure they could probably get one more in, because if it was the last over of the day, oh, sorry, the last over of the day will be once it's gone past 7:08. So,
yeah. Okay, Mohammed Abbas comes to the crease. He's got a jingle that goes a little bit like this.
I don't want to be crass, but it's time for Mohammed Abbas.
Got 2 slips of gully, a short square leg, a leg slip or a leg gully. And Stokes is over the wicket to Abbas, trying to bowl it down the leg side, trying to see if he can get him to flick round the corner to the man waiting for a catch, but he doesn't. I'm not sure Mohammed Abbas is as good enough a batsman to do that. And it goes down the leg side, and there is no run. 2 balls remaining. I think this will probably be the last 2 balls of the day, because my computer is saying 7:07. It seems as though Stokes was annoyed with that ball, so maybe it wasn't that he was trying to lure him into the trap. That's better, outside the off stump, left alone, through to Butler. 1 ball remaining. Will the clock tick round to 19:08?
Why was it 19:08?
It's mystifying, isn't it? I mean,
some ancient law that they've dragged up out of some dusty old book somewhere.
Well, they've lost no play today for the weather, have they? They've not been off. So
well, they lost 10 minutes this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? What for?
They just a little squall came in on the hottest day of the year.
Right, okay.
Strangely enough, here comes Stokes, bowls to Mohammed Abbas, and he comes up really well there and defends the ball up to mid-on. Is that it? Please tell me that's it. No one's going anywhere. Joe Root is looking moderately confused. Oh, and finally, I think it was Jofra Archer who actually knock the bails off. And we've had enough of this, for goodness sake. That indeed is the end of the day. Pakistan finishing on 137 for 8. This game will be over tomorrow. You have it on my authority. Today's players brought 264 runs. Is that enough for anyone to have won the GPL, Bear?
No, it isn't. The lowest score on the GPL was 287.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll do a quick rundown of what happened in the day. England resumed on 91, I think it was, for 4. They batted pretty well. Ollie Pope got a snorter from Nazim Shah after he'd made 50. He made 62 from 117 balls. Once he had gone, well, we thought maybe Jos Buttler had batted so well could see England through the afternoon session. It was going to be the redemptive innings in which he secured his place for eternity in this England side. But unfortunately, second ball after lunch, Yasir Shah decided not to turn one. Jos Buttler decided to play it as if he had turned one. There was enough of a gap. The ball went through, took out. It was off stump. He went for 38. It was a shame. He batted really well. Woakes got sconed at one point, but came back to bat quite well. But then he was undone by a really good ball by Yasir Shah. It was the flipper who went back, as you should expect a batsman to do, to pull it and hurried off the pitch and bowl his middle stump out to the ground. Dominic Best was caught Assad Shafiq off Yasir Shah. Just the shoulder of the bat, bit of thumb involved, looped up, took a good diving catch. Jofra Archer entertained us for a little bit before being caught off Shadab Khan, who was brought into the attack when Broad went on the attack. He went for 16, caught by Rizwan. Stuart Broad remained 29 not out. Jimmy Anderson entertained us with a reverse sweep and then got out to a reverse sweep, LBW to Shadab Khan. These are the bowling figures as England were bowled out for 219 in 70.3 overs. Shaheen Shah Afridi, 18 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 51. He seemed to bowl better than that. Mohammed Abbas, who at one point bowled 6 maidens out of 7 overs this morning, 15 overs, 6 maidens, 2 for 33. Nasim Shah, 16 overs, 4 maidens, 1 for 44. He got the really important wicket of Ollie Pope. Yasir Shah, 18 overs, 2 maidens, 4 for 66, was brilliant after lunch. Should have had a 5-4. Shadab Khan dropped it and then came and took the second wicket for himself. 3.3 overs, no maidens, 2 for 13. Second innings for Pakistan. Shan Masood, century maker in the first innings, caught Buttler, bowled Broad down the leg side for a duck. Would you believe it? Abid Ali caught Woakes, bowled Best at deep mid-wicket as he tried to slog sweep. He made 20. Azhar Ali took an age to get off the mark and get off a pair, but eventually was LBW to Woakes for 18. Babar Azam undone by Woakes as well. Lovely ball that Stoke grasped down to his left at slip. Assad Shafiq was run out. Good piece of work. Dominic Sibley running in from backward point. He made 29. Mohammed Rizwan, 27, before being LBW to Stokes when he was finally brought her into the attack late in the day. Shadab Khan, LBW to Broad for 15. Shahan Shah Afridi caught Bernard Stokes just now for 2. Yasir Shah remains 12 not out. Mohammed Abbas not out yet to score. The bowling figures: Jimmy Anderson, 9 overs, 2 maidens, none for 34. Stuart Broad, 9 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 23. Jofra Archer, 5 overs, no maidens, none for 13. Dominic Best, far too many overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 40. Chris Woakes, 5 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 11, bowled beautifully. Ben Stokes, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 11. We rejoin tomorrow at 10:50 a.m. when the lead that Pakistan will try to extend is 244. That can't be allowed to go past 250 otherwise England are absolutely doomed to defeat. But we shall see. It's been another great day of Test cricket. There'll be another great one tomorrow. Please join us when we'll have Annie in the studio. Well, in her studio, not as. We will have Aditya joining us from Singapore, and we will have some great cricket to bring you. I don't know if there are any final tweets that you feel like we should read, Nestle Boy, or maybe you've gone home.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, any final tweets?
Well, there was a flurry of tweets round about 7 o'clock, all saying thank you very much, fantastic, thank you very much. And then they all came back going, oh, flipping hell, what's going on? But Muttley says, been flitting in and out of listening today between naps. Thought the day's play had finished already. Just checked the score. Holy shit, they ripped through the wickets, didn't they? Still playing. Love and sausages. Woof. And to end it all, Mezzy Jez. Thanks all. I hope to be back in time for the climax. But if not, enjoy yourselves tomorrow.
Well, we intend to. And it will be a lot of fun. Until tomorrow morning, then, we say our good night. I've just seen that old Abhishek has changed his handle to Eunice Khan's notebook.
Mid-tweet.
Which is really nice as well.
Can't keep up with him.
No, indeed. He's a master of disguise. Anyway, that's it from us for today from Guerrilla Cricket. We'll be back at 10:50 a.m. BST tomorrow. Join us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Hot Mic, on TuneIn. Have I forgotten anyone?
Facebook.
YouTube. Yeah, no, I've done all those.
NASA's private link.
Yeah, listen to us through toilet rolls wherever you can find signal. But until tomorrow, it's goodbye from all of us at Guerrilla Cricket. Join us again.
Bye.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come. This is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolution.